Chapter 577. The first person Grandpa Sheng saw when he woke up was Sheng Kai and his wife. There was disappointment in his eyes, but at least he got through it. That's right. That kid, eighth brother, would never wait in the hospital quietly. He was that kind of person. He didn't know how to play these emotional tricks. Grandpa, you're finally awake. We were so worried. Gu Xiling quickly went forward and asked about Grandpa Sheng's well-being. Are you thirsty? Do you want some water? Grandpa Sheng shook his head gently. He opened his eyes for a while, felt tired and fell asleep again. Seeing this, Sheng Kai dragged Gu Xiling out of the ward and said to her, "Now is the best time for us to win back Grandpa's heart. We must take good care of Grandpa and regain his trust. Are you sure Grandpa will listen to you? When a person is sick, the person he trusts and appreciates the most is the person who takes care of him wholeheartedly." Gu Xiling nodded and looked at Sheng Kai. "I understand. What about you? I want to make achievements and make up for Huang Yao's mistakes." Because he knew that no one would agree with third brother's way of doing things. So he could easily snatch that position from Sheng Bowen's hands. "Then go and do your work. Xiling, you've worked hard. As for the child, when Grandpa recovers, we can try a test tube test." Today, when he saw Sheng Xiao and was warned by him, his pride had been stepped on by Sheng Xiao. If he did not work hard to climb up, he would only be a toy for the rest of his life. Gu Xiling was right. A man's pride had to be earned by himself. He did not want to be so muddle-headed anymore. He swore that he would become more ruthless than anyone else, even more ruthless than Sheng Xiao. Late at night in Jianchuan was shrouded in thick fog. That night, Tang Yin came home very late. Perhaps it was because he came home late. So Feng Shanshan really lit a fire in her little courtyard and set up a tent to camp. Because she had nowhere else to go, Tang Yin rarely walked out of his balcony, but when he saw Feng Shanshan playing with herself, he could not help but throw something in her courtyard. Feng Shanshan saw it and turned to look at Tang Yin on the second floor. "You're back? Is camping so interesting?" "It's my wish to go camping in the wild, but no one will go with me," Feng Shanshan said. Feng Shanshan said, "I used to have a rich boyfriend, but he only played games related to money. He didn't care about these games at all." Tang Yin did not listen to her nonsense. He went straight to the living room and took the key. Then he went back to the balcony and threw it to Feng Shanshan. "Up! Aren't you afraid that I'll be troublesome?" Feng Shanshan tilted her head and asked. "I'm afraid that you'll burn down the courtyard and implicate me," Tang Yin said in disdain as he drank the water. After Feng Shanshan turned off the fire and entered the room, he said, "Actually, you're just shameless." "I used to be a delinquent," Feng Shanshan said disapprovingly. "Tang." Xiaoyan, Xiao and Xiao. Xiao. Tang. Did. What of? Tang. Sheng. Tang. Kai. Tang Yin did not say anything. Instead, he went to the study. It was easy for him to understand Feng Shanshan's past. He had heard from the professor that Feng Shanshan had been paid by the Sheng family to monitor Mu Qiqi. She was a bad woman, but she was not completely bad. It made people feel 30% disgusted, 30% distressed, and the remaining 30% disdainful, and 10% unable to bear it. All in all, she made people feel strange. Perhaps it was because she was living too real. The next morning, Tang Yin went out and found Feng Shanshan spraying perfume on herself. "I don't like the smell of perfume." "I know, but you don't want others to misunderstand our relationship, do you?" Feng Shanshan explained. "This perfume can effectively cover up the smell of wood in your house. Otherwise, do you think I'd want to wear it?" Tang Yin did not say anything. He just took the helmet and went out. What about Feng Shanshan? In fact, she was not as calm as she thought. She would be confused. She was only here to stay, but for some reason last night, she had the crazy thought of looking for Tang Yin to comfort her. Was it really because she was too lonely? After spraying this perfume, the house would be ready tomorrow. She had to go home and maintain a relationship with Tang Yin. Men, was there anything else to believe? Except for the rare breed in Mu Qiqi's house. The next morning, Banyan Courtyard, Sheng Xiao and Mu Qiqi went out together. However, Mu Qiqi planned to go to the hospital to see old Master Sheng first. At least, She wanted to know if he had woken up. However, there were bodyguards following them in the car. In order to prevent that woman from the Gu family from quarreling with me when I get to the hospital, I've prepared bodyguards first. If she speaks, I'll shut her up. Seeing this, Sheng Xiao could not help but laugh. You're quite flexible. I'm not a good person. Mu Qiqi snorted. I'm from an orthodox family. The value of my existence is to make people like Gu Xiling tremble. Sheng Xiao hooked his arm around her neck and kissed her thin lips. Remember to call me when you're out. Don't worry. The reason why the little one was in a hurry to go to the hospital was because she was afraid that Sheng Xiao would continue to worry. In this world, no one understood his heart better than the little one. Soon, the two of them arrived at the entrance of the hospital. Mu Qiqi directly brought the 4 bodyguards to old Master Sheng's ward. When Gu Xiling saw this, she frowned and questioned her. However, before she could speak, the bodyguard behind Mu Qiqi directly stepped forward, covered Gu Xiling's mouth, and brought her out of the ward. She should have done this a long time ago. She should have dealt with that bitch like this. Old Master Sheng had already woken up. He watched helplessly as Mu Qiqi threw Gu Xiling out. I was afraid that arguing with her would anger you, so I threw her out. It's not that I can't argue with her, Mu Qiqi said to old Master Sheng. Mu Qiqi said to Grandpa Sheng. Xiao Xiao and I were just outside the operating room yesterday. But later the Sheng family came, so we left. Now that you're so energetic, Xiao Xiao can rest assured. 8th brother. When you're better, go and see him yourself. I won't pass the message to you. Mu Qiqi sat in front of the bed and said. As for the Sheng family, it doesn't matter if you can stand it or not. Anyway, your health is more important. Was this girl worried that his health would be affected because he was angry? Chapter 578. If that was the case, she had underestimated him too much. Anyway, you know very well who's a human and who's a ghost among your grandsons. You should be on guard against them. Old Master Sheng thought to himself that if he hadn't just had such a major surgery, this little girl wouldn't have had the chance to teach him how to handle things. But when he thought of the reason behind her, Grandpa Sheng could not hate Mu Qiqi, which granddaughter-in-law did not remind their family to live in harmony and trust them. But she, on the other hand, was on guard against them. Let's go. If he kept listening, he would probably hear Mu Qiqi asking him to chase second brother and his wife out of the Sheng family. Be that as it may, he did not find Mu Qiqi annoying, which was rare. Mu Qiqi still had classes, so she did not stay in the ward for long. But when she walked out of the ward, she saw Gu Xiling's resentful face. She could not help but say to the bodyguard, "Let her go." On the other hand, Gu Xiling wanted to slap Mu Qiqi right after she regained her freedom. But how could she succeed? But her wrist was caught firmly by the bodyguard. Sheng Xiao is just arrogant, but you, Mu Qiqi, you disregard the law and do whatever you want just because you are a man. How long can you be so arrogant? I really find that every time you see me, you can use different adjectives to label me. Is this some kind of superpower? I welcome you to dislike me, but you can't do anything to me. Mu Qiqi smiled. And all the schemes and plans you have in your heart will not succeed. Gu Xiling, take good care of Grandpa Sheng, because now, he is the only value you have in the Sheng family. Let's go. After saying this, Mu Qiqi shouted at the bodyguard. But just as she said, Gu Xiling wanted to do all kinds of evil things to her. But at least for now, Gu Xiling had no chance. Sheng Xiao would not let Gu Xiling get any chance. Gu Xiling hated her very much. She could not wait to engrave all the humiliation Mu Qiqi brought to her in her heart, because that was the only way she could remember Mu Qiqi's hateful face. One day, she would make Mu Qiqi pay back 10 times, 100 times for what she had suffered today. After visiting the old man, Mu Qiqi called Sheng Xiao on her way to school. That old man has already woken up and is full of energy. Don't worry. After listening to the little one's words, Sheng Xiao's gaze fell on the documents on the table. It was an invitation letter specially sent by the relevant department. They were going to attend an important banquet on New Year's Eve. If there are no cases in the branch tonight, go home early. I have something important to tell you. Can't you tell me now? Mu Qiqi was intrigued. I can't. Slowly curling his lips, Sheng Xiao hung up the phone. What an honor it was to attend the state banquet as an outstanding young entrepreneur. He wondered how excited that stinky thing would be when it found out. Mu Qiqi's heart itched. That man was too hateful. He told her what he was going to tell her at night so early. However, just as she was puzzled, Mu Qiqi caught a whiff of Feng Shanshan's perfume when she entered the classroom. Don't you never wear perfume? What? Was it to cover up the scent of wood? Aren't you trying to hide something? Feng Shanshan held her head and looked at Mu Qiqi. Don't talk to me. Don't forget that the final exam is coming soon. It's time to compete for first and second place again. You're the best in the world. I won't fight for it. Mu Qiqi shrugged indifferently. You mean you're going to let me? Do I need you to let me? You flatter yourself. Why is it raining again? Mu Qiqi pretended not to hear what Feng Shanshan said. She looked out of the classroom and sighed. Anyway, she did not like being in first place. What was so bad about having someone in front of her? Mu Qiqi, didn't you tell me not to talk to you? Mu Qiqi flipped through the book casually. I think I'm interested in Tang Yan's body. You mean you want to? I don't know. I just want to sleep with him. But I don't want to take responsibility. Nor do I want to talk about feelings. Mu Qiqi! Exclamation point. Your ex-boyfriend treats you like this. Are you going to treat others the same way? Mu Qiqi looked at Feng Shanshan seriously and said, Officer Tang has never experienced feelings. If you don't really like him, don't mess with him. Otherwise, what's the difference between this and playing with others? I'll look down on you from the bottom of my heart. I look down on myself too. Feng Shanshan took a deep breath. It was just that Tang Yan's figure and temperament were really tempting. Seeing that Feng Shanshan was also so troubled, Mu Qiqi could not help but laugh. You want to sleep with him, but you don't want to take responsibility. What kind of expression do you think Officer Tang will have when he finds out about this? Maybe he'll be very happy. Mu Qiqi looked at Feng Shanshan's expression and suddenly thought of something. Is it because of that you don't dare to be serious with Officer Tang? Feng Shanshan knew what Mu Qiqi was referring to. Her eyes dimmed. He can meet a pure and clean girl. It shouldn't be like me. As expected. You're not Tang Yan. How do you know that he can't accept it? I don't deserve him. Feng Shanshan knew this very well. A policeman of the people should have a good girl by his side to accompany and take care of him. Not someone like her who had played with feelings and made mistakes. Mu Qiqi opened her mouth. There were still a lot of things she wanted to say because she wanted to talk about Qianqian, but she realized that Feng Shanshan and Lu Qianqian were very different. Qianqian had never hurt others, nor did she play with others' feelings. She had never spied on anyone for money, but Feng Shanshan had it all. She probably felt even more inferior than Qianqian. I think it's not up to you to decide. It depends on Officer Tang's feelings. Don't jump to conclusions if you haven't asked him. This time, it was Feng Shanshan's turn to stop talking. In the afternoon, after class, when the two of them walked out of the classroom, the professor called from the forensics laboratory. There's a dismembered body case in the suburbs. Are you free? Mu Qiqi thought of what Sheng Xiao told her at night. He asked her to go home early. So she told Feng Shanshan, I'll ask Xiao Xiao. After Feng Shanshan heard it, she answered the professor first. I'll come over right away. Then, Mu Qiqi took out her phone and called Sheng Xiao. Xiao Xiao, is the thing you mentioned this morning urgent? Why? Did the professor summon you? Yes. He said that there's a dismembered body case in the suburbs. Call me after tonight. I'll come and pick you up, Sheng Xiao replied. This little one must be itching to see the scene. Chapter 579. I know. If I'm cold, I'll take off my uniform and put it on. Mu Qiqi hung up the phone in a hurry. She once said that Sheng Xiao came first in everything. However, since Sheng Xiao could keep her in suspense until the afternoon, it meant that this matter was important but not urgent. Moreover, Sheng Xiao knew her the best in this world. If he really needed her to do something, he would definitely tell her. Soon they arrived at the police station. At this time, the seniors of the criminal investigation team were also getting ready to go. When the professor saw Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan, he said, Tang Yin drove here today. You two take his car. After listening to the professor's arrangement, Mu Qiqi glanced at Feng Shanshan. She was relieved when she saw that there was nothing wrong with her expression, because Feng Shanshan was not someone who could not distinguish between work and work. The group moved quickly. However, the weather was too bad. Even if Tang Yin drove, he could not speed up. It always rains this winter. The senior from the forensics team was a little helpless. I'm going to rot soon. Speaking of rotting, Feng Shanshan's house should be rotting too. Tang Yin looked at Feng Shanshan through the rearview mirror. But he saw that Feng Shanshan seemed to be absent-minded. Rain is really the enemy of the police. Once it rains, the evidence will be washed away, Mu Qiqi said. Half an hour later, they finally arrived at the forest in the suburbs. It was not a crime scene, but the place where the body parts were found. Before we find the other body parts, the forensics team might have to work hard tonight. There are many wild animals on this mountain. Some of us can't differentiate between human and animal organs. It's a bit heavy. Please bear with us. Let's do it this way. The professor, Gao, and Qin will be in another group. The two interns will be in another group. Tang Yin, you are in charge of protecting them. The captain was assigning tasks. This way we can find the other parts of the body as soon as possible. Okay. Everyone was wearing raincoats and holding umbrellas. The forensics team members were even wearing gloves. Several groups of people set off in different directions. The road up the mountain is very steep and slippery. It's raining now, so the road conditions will be even more difficult. Both of you, just do what you can. If you can't go up, don't force yourself and burden the team. I can identify the corpses, Tang Yin said to the two of them before going up the mountain. After all, they were two delicate girls. This kind of harsh environment was not a place they should be in. Wherever the criminal appears, that's where we should go. How can we be picky? We will try our best not to drag you down. Mu Qiqi promised Tang Yin seriously. Moreover, it seemed that it was really necessary for Xiao Xiao to train her physical fitness. Tang Yin looked at them for a long time and finally said, Okay. The group of 6 quickly set off in the most dangerous direction. The police opened the way in front while Tang Yin protected them from behind. Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi looked very carefully along the way, afraid that they would miss any important information. After searching for 40 minutes, Feng Shanshan grabbed the tree trunk and took a deep breath. Of course, Mu Qiqi was not much better. In fact, the two of them had exceeded Tang Yan's expectations. We found something. The police in front shouted in the rainy night. When Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi heard that, they immediately walked over and saw the body parts that had been washed clean on the ground. They quickly said, It's human. There's no mistake. Another cruel scumbag. The two of them squatted on the ground to take photos for evidence, while the other police officers continued forward. However, perhaps because they did not see the road clearly, one of the men slipped and fell to the edge of the cliff. At that moment, Tang Yin pulled him up with one hand. Be careful. The two girls are fine. You're a man. How can you be so embarrassing? The rain is too heavy. I can't see clearly. The man patted his chest with lingering fear. Thank you, Xiao Tang. I didn't expect you to be so good at martial arts. Tang Yin was probably the only one in the whole team who could carry a person as easily as carrying a bag with his bare hands. Feng Shanshan turned her head and saw the scene. Her eyes were filled with mixed emotions. She was a little stunned, a little obsessed, and also a little disappointed. I don't think there's a need to continue forward. There's no road anymore. It's all cliffs. Then let's go down. The two girls probably can't take it anymore, Tang Yin said. Let's go back first and see if the other teams have found anything. Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi felt cold all over. After all, the rain and cold wind had poured into their bodies. They did not know how long this bad weather would last. The other teams did not find anything, because Mu Qiqi's team had found them. No, the rain is too heavy. It'll be more dangerous if we go up. Let's go back first tonight. We'll take these body parts back and put them together to see what's missing, the professor said to the police team. Tang Yin, send the two assistants out, the captain of the criminal investigation team ordered. No need. My family is on the way. Officer Tang, please send Shanshan home. Tang Yin glanced at Feng Shanshan and nodded at the captain and Mu Qiqi. I'll send her home first and then come back. No need. We can't do anything tonight in this weather. We'll talk about it tomorrow. The captain patted Tang Yan's shoulder and told everyone to go back. Tang Yan did not refute because he saw Feng Shanshan's cheeks were red from the cold. Are we going? Feng Shanshan did not hesitate and followed behind Tang Yan. They got into the car together, but Feng Shanshan sat in the back. Go back and take a hot shower. Otherwise, you won't be able to go to class tomorrow. I'm not that weak. I'm talking about your feet, Tang Yan said, although he seemed to have noticed that Feng Shanshan was deliberately being cold to him. 10 minutes later, Sheng Zhao's car stopped in the woods in the suburbs. Mu Qiqi quickly got into the car and snuggled into Sheng Zhao's arms. It's so cold, Xiao Xiao. Didn't you say that you would strip the police's clothes? If I do that, what if someone else freezes to death because of me? Mu Qiqi said coquettishly. I was sweating all over when I went up the mountain just now. It's just that the cold wind blew while I was waiting for you. Sheng Zhao looked at her teasingly, but still took out a clean towel to dry her hair. Go back and take a good shower. It's best if you do another sweaty exercise. Mu Qiqi winked at him suggestively. But don't you have something important to tell me? You can tell me now. Chapter 580. On the other hand, when the off-road vehicle drove near her house, Feng Shanshan asked Tang Yin to drop her at the door because she wanted to go home. Your house shouldn't be much better than outside, Tang Yin said. I've already asked the workers to deal with it, Feng Shanshan replied. She perked up and was about to push the door open and get out of the car. Are you avoiding me on purpose? Tang Yin did not unlock the door for her. Instead, he asked Feng Shanshan through the rearview mirror. You weren't like this a few days ago. Feng Shanshan did not expect Tang Yin to notice it. With his EQ, he could actually notice it. She really could not underestimate him. Perhaps Tang Yin had guessed what Feng Shanshan was thinking. So he said to Feng Shanshan, although I don't want to fall in love and have deep contact with women, it doesn't mean that I don't understand other people's attitude towards me. What's wrong? If I tell you, I think you won't want to see me anymore. Feng Shanshan gave Tang Yin a heads up first. Tell me, do you need a roommate? You've already asked about this, Tang Yin replied. I've also said that I'm not used to living with others. I mean the kind that shares a bed and has something to do. Feng Shanshan leaned against the back seat and narrowed her eyes. Her posture was a little seductive and charming. You should know that I'm not a good woman. What was strange was that Tang Yan's reaction was not too extreme. You want to live with me? You can say that, Feng Shanshan replied. You probably think I'm crazy, right? I think so too. I can't help but think so. Tang Yin turned around and looked at Feng Shanshan. His gaze made Feng Shanshan's heart beat faster and almost jump out of her throat. However, he did not give Feng Shanshan an answer. Instead, he threw the key to her. Go open the door first. I'll go park the car. So, what was going on? However, Feng Shanshan did not think about it. She jumped out of Tang Yan's off-road vehicle and rushed to the door of his house. However, her hands were too excited, and the key could not be inserted. Tang Yin parked the car and went out. Seeing that Feng Shanshan was still opening the door, he could not help but snatch the key from her hand and open it slowly. At this moment, Feng Shanshan felt that she had fallen. Then, the two of them entered the room one after the other. But before Feng Shanshan could react, she was already pressed against the wall by Tang Yin and kissed wildly. In the darkness, she only heard Tang Yin say, Since you're the one who suggested it, don't regret it. Feng Shanshan did not have time to regret, because the feeling Tang Yin gave her was very strong. Whether it was kissing or caressing, they were obviously two impossible people. But at this moment, they quickly walked to the bedroom and fell onto the bed. By the time Feng Shanshan reacted, her legs were already held by someone, and Tang Yin went to the drawer to take out a contraceptive. Feng Shanshan's eyes widened, but she did not have time to speak. Everything happened too quickly and directly. You can tell how strong a man is and how strong his body is. Feng Shanshan had come for his body in the first place, so she naturally knew that she had made the right choice. In the dark, Tang Yin picked Feng Shanshan up and put her in the bathroom. Take a shower. What about you? There's a bathroom downstairs, Tang Yin said. This man was definitely not a newbie. And he was not an idiot when it came to relationships. A man who could accurately judge a woman's emotions and pretend to be stupid in his heart was definitely very dangerous. His kissing posture was very skilled, and there were contraceptives at home. No one would believe that this man had no experience. Who had misjudged this man's information? Feng Shanshan lay in the bathtub and rolled her eyes. But she had to admit that Tang Yin had subdued her body and heart. After the shower, Feng Shanshan warmed up and simply tidied up Tang Yan's big bed. But he bumped into her. I didn't want to sleep. I just feel sorry for messing it up. Tang Yin was wearing a black nightgown and looked at Feng Shanshan. If you want it, you can come to me directly. Or if you don't want to continue, and just want a one-night stand, it's fine. I can pretend that nothing happened. I just don't want feelings. It's very troublesome, Feng Shanshan answered directly. Then we'll be bed partners, or you can want me to be your boyfriend. Our way of getting along will be the same as before. We won't talk about feelings. That's not necessary. It'll be the same as before. Feng Shanshan chose. Okay, but I only have one condition. While maintaining this relationship with me, don't look for other men. If you like other men, tell me in advance and end everything. After saying that, Tang Yin turned around. I'm going to sleep in the study. I thought that you've never been in a relationship before, and you don't know what feelings are. You won't sleep with women casually. Who told you that? Or who told you to define it for me? Tang Yin raised his eyebrows. Okay, I know that you're very capable in that aspect and very skilled. I haven't fooled around. A relationship is a relationship. It's just that I haven't been in a relationship in recent years. But I also have needs. After explaining, Tang Yin turned around and left the bedroom for the study. Feng Shanshan laughed, and then went to the living room. She still liked Tang Yan's fireplace the most. This man was very black-bellied. He was not like that in front of others. Behind the scenes, he must have some wonderful love stories and private life. This kind of person was the most dangerous. But at the same time, he would make you dig deeper. Wasn't that how women were? Even if they knew that the person in front of them was an onion, they would still not give up and peel it to see if he had a heart. But at the same time, Feng Shanshan would feel guilty, because in the eyes of people like Mu Qiqi, this was treason, and a sign of not having self-respect. She was maintaining a dangerous relationship with Tang Yin. In the study, Tang Yin sat in front of the desk and wrote his diary. This was his habit. It was the first time in 2 years that he touched a girl's body. He was crazy, but at the same time he was serious. Although he knew that Feng Shanshan was not a simple woman, and the more he grabbed her, the more she would run away, he was very sure that he would only have such a strong impulse and desire for someone who had fallen in love with him. But now there was a problem. That woman outside. It was obvious. She did not like to talk about feelings. Then he could only play hard to get. Women were like this. The more you chased, the more she ran away. The more you pretended not to care about her, the more she would chase after you. Chapter 581. At the same time, in the banyan courtyard, in the master bedroom upstairs, Mu Qiqi had just experienced an intense workout. Of course, she also knew what Xing Xiao wanted to tell her. An outstanding young entrepreneur. Mu Qiqi felt very excited just thinking about it. I'm going to give you an award, right? Do I have to go too? It's just a banquet. Besides, you're my wife. If you don't go, who's going with me? Xing Xiao stroked Mu Qiqi's hair and tucked her hair behind her ear. Then, what do I need to prepare for that kind of scene? Etiquette? Or something else? Or do I need to dance? Nothing. That night, you just need to stay by my side and be yourself. Mu Qiqi thought about it and felt very proud. Because in just a short year, Xing Xiao could do what others could not do in decades. Okay, when the time comes, I'll be very obedient because I only want to see your most handsome side. Xing Xiao hugged her and pulled the blanket for her. I've said what I need to say and done what I need to do. Go to sleep. Mu Qiqi was satisfied. She lay in Xing Xiao's arms and soon fell asleep sweetly. Sometimes, living too comfortably would make her feel frightened. because she was afraid that God would take away her happiness at some point. Therefore, even with Sheng Xiao by her side, Mu Qiqi still cherished every day with him. She did not want her life with Sheng Xiao to have any regrets. After the little one fell asleep, Sheng Xiao got up quietly and went to the bathroom to get the first aid box. Then, he put on his nightgown and sat on the edge of the bed. He looked at the little one's red and swollen feet and gently applied medicine to her feet. Her little feet were blistered just like that. She did not know how long she had been walking on the mountain. The next day, Feng Shanshan woke up at Tang Yan's house. She thought that it would be very awkward to see Tang Yan, but she did not expect that Tang Yan had already left home in the middle of the night and went to the police station. Feng Shanshan heaved a sigh of relief and went to Tang Yan's room to clean the trash, because there was evidence of their crime last night. She did not expect that Tang Yan had already cleaned it last night. Alright, everything was because she worried too much. After breakfast, Feng Shanshan went to school. She did not know why, but she felt guilty when she saw Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi had warned her yesterday that if she was not sincere to Officer Tang, she should not provoke him. In the end, the two of them had sex last night. However, Tang Yan was not an idiot in love like Mu Qiqi thought he was. He was so secretive. Who knew how messy his private life was in the past? Mu Qiqi looked at Feng Shanshan and felt that there was something wrong with her today. What happened when you went back with Officer Tang last night? It's not like you don't know him. With his personality, what could possibly happen to him? Feng Shanshan replied. I'm afraid that you won't take responsibility if you bully her. You're thinking too much. Feng Shanshan pushed Mu Qiqi's head away. Focus on your book. Don't you need to take a test? Mu Qiqi shook her head and did not continue asking. In her opinion, Tang Yin was the kind of man who came from a good family. No, it should be said that in everyone's eyes, Tang Yin was the kind of man who did not lust after women. Only Feng Shanshan knew that this man was dangerous to the core. In the afternoon after class, the two of them went straight to the police station. They wanted to know if all the bodies of the dismembered body case had been found. The professor asked them to go to the autopsy table to take a look. After the rain stopped, the police went up the hill to clean up again. Tang Yin brought a big bag of body parts back to the police station and was putting them together. This is not the only victim. Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan looked at the body and said to Tang Yin, a man and a woman, and they like tattoos very much. Alright, the bodies have been found. The rest is up to you, the forensic doctor. After that, Tang Yin stepped back and let Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan go forward. Feng Shanshan saw the man stepping back and brushing past her. Her heart suddenly stopped for a second. When she thought of the man's ferocity last night, she could not help but blush. Both of you will do the autopsy today. I'll watch from the side, the professor said to Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan. Tang Yin, what's wrong with your hand? Hearing the professor's question, Feng Shanshan pricked up her ears. It's nothing. I was looking for the body in the morning and rolled down the cliff. Otherwise, I wouldn't have found these body parts. Your physique is indeed not bad, but you can't be so reckless. If something really happens to you, how am I going to explain it to your father in the future? In the end, you still need a woman to control you. If there's nothing else, I'll go out first. Tang Yin was still cold. He did not take the professor's words to heart. When he went out, Feng Shanshan took a look at his arm. It was full of scratches and bruises. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was a bloody mess. In fact, Tang Yin had to admit that he did not clean the wounds on purpose, because he knew that Feng Shanshan would be in the forensics lab. Feng Shanshan seemed to understand Tang Yan's intention. So, during the autopsy, she turned to Mu Qiqi and asked, Are you good at judging people? I heard that you've always been good at judging people. In life, how can I really judge someone accurately? It's just my instinct that I don't like them. Then, do you really think that Tang Yin is an idiot when it comes to relationships? It's not that I think so. From the first time I met him, you've been telling me how low his EQ is, and how he doesn't care about you. Mu Qiqi smiled. That's your intuition, not mine. Feng Shanshan did not say anything. She suddenly had a feeling that she was the purest person in the world. Stop talking nonsense. Let's get down to business. After saying that, Muchichi put the two bodies together. But after they were done, the two of them looked at each other and called for the professor. The professor was shocked when he saw the tattoos on the bodies. At first, we thought that these two victims just liked tattoos. But after we put the bodies together, we realized that the tattoos on their bodies are unusual, Muchichi explained. This kind of thing seems to be psychic. I've seen it in a movie before. I hate solving cases related to metaphysics the most. The professor sighed as he put on his gloves. Although I don't believe in gods, I'm still in awe of them. I always feel that touching these things makes me uncomfortable. Professor, it's not these things that make you uncomfortable. It's the story behind them that makes you uncomfortable. Chapter 582. Let's study it together. Let's see what these patterns mean. The professor picked up a magnifying glass, intending to study those spine-chilling things in detail. Muchichi, too, went to look up the name of the horror movie and found the patterns in it, showing it to the professor. This pattern is tattooed on the body after death. Its meaning is to destroy the soul of the deceased and prevent them from reincarnating. It's like a taboo spell, but the murderer didn't just put a curse on them, he even dismembered them. It's clear that the murderer hates the man and woman very much. The murderer must know such sorcery. Well, it's almost the weekend. If you have the time, go with the police to the spot where the bodies were dumped. You might find something there. Muchichi and Feng Shanshan shared a look and nodded. Although there had been cases like this before, it had been deliberately done by someone. But now, two corpses were placed before them. To tell the truth, even if they believed in science, they still felt chills running down their spines when they came into contact with such things. In the hospital at night, Grandpa Sheng's ward was filled with the Sheng family. The Sheng family naturally had to show their concern for Grandpa Sheng, since he had suffered such a great calamity. Of course, some of them could not help accusing Sheng Xiao. What's wrong with eighth brother? He didn't even inform us when something so serious happened to you. He just did it all by himself. Those who don't know him would think that he's plotting something against you and the Sheng family. Who knows what eighth brother is thinking? He's up to no good. I allowed eighth brother to do this, the old man said, leaning on his sickbed. If you want me to die early, do your best to sow discord in front of me. Let me see what you're up to. As soon as the old master finished speaking, the whole family fell silent. Of course, the Sheng brothers could tell that Sheng Xiao was returning to the Sheng family. I know what you're thinking, the old man sneered. But don't worry, eighth brother isn't coming back. I know what you're thinking, Grandpa Sheng sneered and continued. But eighth brother has no intention of coming back. You can rest assured. That's not what we meant. After all, eighth brother was the one who wanted to leave the Sheng family. Back then, he was so disdainful, and even did not hesitate to hurt you and Huang Yao. It was not easy for everyone to calm down. Of course, I don't want our lives to be disrupted again. Grandpa, you should rest more. You don't have to waste your energy explaining this to everyone. After all, it was eighth brother's expert who helped you get through this. We should all thank him, said Sheng Kai. Uncles, don't you think so? No one said a word because they did not know what Sheng Kai was up to. Since all of you are here today, I'll verify this matter as soon as possible. I've already made my will in triplicate, and each one is being kept by someone else. I've never thought of changing it, so no matter what kind of thoughts you have here today, it's useless. Now that Huang Yao is under third brother's leadership, I am very relieved. I also hope that you can do your best to help third brother. Don't think about other things that you shouldn't think about. Even if I'm really gone one day, don't think about causing any trouble. I've already arranged everything. After hearing what Grandpa Sheng said, everyone became even more silent. They could not help but look at each other. Who didn't know that Grandpa Sheng was most biased towards Sheng Xiao? Since he had already made his will, it must be biased towards eighth brother. Grandpa, we're just worried about your health. If you're really worried about my health, don't come here with so many people making a ruckus. I can't rest, said Grandpa Sheng. Don't come here in the future. Since Dad said so, let's go back first. We can rest assured with second brother and Xiling taking care of him. No one knew which uncles made the suggestion, but everyone tactfully left Grandpa Sheng's ward. At the same time, Sheng Kai's expression was very ugly, because he did not expect Grandpa Sheng to make his will so early, and in triplicate. Of course, this was not good for him, because third brother was the most popular person in front of him, and eighth brother was the apple of his eye. The other brothers were nothing in the old man's eyes. He had to know in advance what the contents of Grandpa Sheng's will were. But who else knew about it other than Grandpa Sheng? Sheng Kai racked his brain for a long time. Finally, he locked on to one person, the butler. It was very cold outside at night. Feng Shanshan did not go home with Tang Yan, because she was in the forensics laboratory, while Tang Yan was out in the field looking for clues. So when she went home, she bought some medicine for scratches on the way. Tang Yan returned home almost at midnight. Seeing that Feng Shanshan was already asleep, he did not disturb her. But the medicine on the table was so eye-catching that he showed a very different expression. The trick of injuring oneself to gain confidence was indeed useful. Then he quickly took a shower. At this time, Feng Shanshan was also woken up by the movement in the living room. She sat up and saw Tang Yin coming out of the bathroom in the living room. She said, "There's a bathroom in your room. Why did you come out to use it?" "The shower head above is broken," Tang Yin replied. "Go to sleep. I'll try to be quiet." "Your hand?" "It's fine. It's just some external injuries." Tang Yin looked at the broken skin on his arm and said, "I'm used to it." Feng Shanshan got up and picked up the medicine from the table. She walked in front of Tang Yin. "Are you really heartless? Or are you deliberately trying to gain sympathy in front of me? I used to do this often. Besides, men are not so delicate." "Of course not." Feng Shanshan cursed in her heart. "Tang Yin, can I ask you a question?" "Go ahead. Can you tell me the truth? How many girlfriends have you had in the past?" This was obviously a freebie question. But Tang Yin knew that he could not answer this kind of question, according to Feng Shanshan's wishes. He would disappoint her. "If you're included, there might be 8. "I don't count," Feng Shanshan immediately said. She was at most a bedmate. "Then why are you still pretending to be a good man? You made Mu Chichi think that I bullied you. I never said that I never had a girlfriend. Men like you, when you're tired of playing, pretend to be good men to deceive women's bodies and minds. If I hadn't seen through you, would you have found a pure girl married and had children?" After hearing Feng Shanshan's words, it was as if he was some kind of pervert. So, he took the opportunity to hug Feng Shanshan's waist. "Tired of playing? If I'm tired of playing, will I still have you?" Chapter 583. You like my body very much, don't you? Feng Shanshan could not refute that. "I really underestimated you. You are worse than I thought," Feng Shanshan said, resigned to her fate. Tang Yin carried her horizontally and put her on the bed. "I'm very happy that I have changed your impression of me. So can I enjoy my bed partner now?" Feng Shanshan felt that she must have been possessed. That was why she allowed Tang Yin to do whatever he wanted. In the past, she felt that she had flirted with a man from a good family. Now, she felt that she had offended a big boss of the dark side. That kind of feeling was really beyond her imagination. Who would have thought that the seemingly righteous Officer Tang would be so bold and unrestrained? "When you provoked me, you should have been fully prepared. A single man who has lived for so many years must have a woman by his side. Unless he is impotent." Feng Shanshan raised her eyebrows. But then she completely lost her temper. That night, she slept on Tang Yan's bed. Because Tang Yan deliberately made her legs weak, she could not even stand up, let alone go to the sofa in the living room. Then he got up from the bed and went to the study. If he wanted to completely win Feng Shanshan's heart, he could not sleep with her. He had to continue to hang on to her, ignore her, and be cold to her. Just as Feng Shanshan said, he was harmless in front of others. But behind her back, only Feng Shanshan knew how dark a man he was. The next day, Mu Chichi woke up very early, because the professor had asked her and Feng Shanshan to follow the police team to the mountains to look for clues and evidence. Sheng Xiao saw that she was in a hurry, so he stopped her. "Don't forget what you promised me. Don't forget what you should do tomorrow." "Don't worry, I remember." Mu Chichi patted her chest and promised. "I will go home early in the afternoon, and then go to Zhongting to accompany you to work." "No need. Sheng Xiao said teasingly. Are you pretending to be obedient? You don't have to pretend for me. I'm not pretending. I really want to stay by your side, okay? President Sheng, Mu Qiqi said impatiently. How can you think of me like that? Idiot. Sheng Xiao scolded her affectionately. Then he let go of Mu Qiqi. Do you believe that I won't cut your feet off? When Mu Qiqi woke up yesterday morning, she saw a band-aid on her heel. Other than her own man, no one else cared for her so much. I'm wearing comfortable shoes today. It's not going to get hurt again. Sheng Xiao did not say anything and just waved his hand. Mu Qiqi smiled and leaned forward. She wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed him on the cheek. Wait for me in the afternoon. Sheng did not move, and just looked at the newspaper in his hand. Mu Qiqi stopped teasing him. She walked out of her house, and went to the police station as fast as she could. However, it was already so late. The police were all ready, but Feng Shanshan was nowhere to be seen. Mu Qiqi looked around, and saw that Tang Yin was already in the group. The two of them lived so close to each other. Did they have to avoid each other so much? Teet vtv teet teet. T. The T Feng teet teet. Overslept? I didn't set the alarm, Feng Shanshan replied. Did the others leave? Of course. I'm the only one who will wait for you. Mu Qiqi got into the police car. In fact, Tang Yan's car was right in front of them. Feng Shanshan also saw the person driving the car. However, the two of them were already so intimate, but they had to pretend that they were not familiar with each other during the day, because she really did not want to provoke any more feelings. Looking at Tang Yan, it seemed that he only enjoyed physical contact, and did not want a girlfriend. Soon they arrived at the forest at the foot of the mountain. Mu Qiqi noticed something. So we climbed so high that night. This is the highest mountain in Jianchuan. It's 2,800 meters high. That night, we might have climbed less than a quarter of it. The senior in the team explained to Mu Qiqi. It's said that there are still people living on the mountain. So, our main task today is to check on those people. Tang Yin was leading the team. Of course, there were no other girls in the team. So the task of protecting Feng Shanshan and Sheng Xiao fell on his shoulders. There are 12 families on the mountain. 6 of them are on the mountainside, and the other 6 are at the top. Why are there so many people living on the mountain? This was not a scenic area, and the terrain was steep. Why did the people not go down the mountain to live? That's because there's a temple on the mountain. This temple is also the place we are going to check today. When we go up the mountain, try to climb the steps diagonally. When you go down the steps, you must do so. Otherwise, your knees will be seriously injured. Tang Yin reminded Mu Qiqi and Sheng Xiao before they went up the mountain. Feng Shanshan's knees might not be the only thing that hurt. Her legs were still weak because of last night. She could not even use her strength when she walked normally, let alone climbing the mountain. What's wrong? Mu Qiqi asked when she saw Feng Shanshan lying on the tree. Are you not feeling well? You look so pale. Are you sure you want to go up? I didn't sleep well last night. But don't worry. I can still hold on. I'm just asking you to follow them to find clues. I'm not asking you to risk your life. You don't have to be like this. If you're really not feeling well, stay at the foot of the mountain. Tang Yin said coldly to Feng Shanshan. Don't drag down the progress of the entire team because of you. Feng Shanshan thought to herself. Although it was the truth, this damn man did not have to say it so directly, did he? When he was with her, he could say all kinds of provocative words. He changed into a different person during the day. We can't let her stay here alone, can we? Mu Qiqi said. You guys go first. I'll send her to the car. Tang Yin answered Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi nodded. She was relieved. Although Tang Yin did look very businesslike, the group set off first. Therefore the group set off first. Feng Shanshan was grabbed by Tang Yin. You don't look well. Let's go home and rest. I don't need you to worry about me, Feng Shanshan said impatiently. I can take care of myself. If you faint later, we'll have to waste manpower to carry you. You stay here. If the murderer is still on the mountain, and you're unlucky enough to meet him, what will you do? Feng Shanshan glared at Tang Yin, and did not say anything. Who's to blame? Be obedient. I'll send you out first. Hearing Tang Yan's soft words, Feng Shanshan's face was no longer as sour as before. She obediently climbed onto Tang Yan's off-road vehicle. If you send me up and come back, will you still be able to catch up to them? Chapter 584. Feng Shanshan had seen how good his stamina was, so she did not ask further. It's in my pocket. Get the key yourself, Tang Yan said to Feng Shanshan as he drove. Feng Shanshan glanced at his lower body. Although she blushed, she did not hesitate and put her hand into his pocket. The medicine box is in the drawer in the bedroom. Get the medicine yourself. Got it. When she finished speaking, Tang Yan stopped the car by the roadside. They had reached a safe place. Feng Shanshan pushed the door open and got out of the car. Her face was extremely pale without a trace of blood. Tang Yan did not leave immediately. He watched Feng Shanshan get into the car before he turned around. Mu Qiqi saw that Tang Yan quickly caught up with them. She asked, Shanshan went back? Yes, Tang Yan answered. I'll go and see her when I come down later. She doesn't have any friends or relatives around her. She's so pitiful, Mu Qiqi said deliberately. Tang Yan did not say anything. He walked in front of everyone. Mu Qiqi looked at the man's back. She wanted to know if he did not care about Feng Shanshan at all. In fact, Tang Yan was really a smart person. He knew very well that Mu Qiqi was just saying it. She would not really go to Feng Shanshan's house. If she wanted to ask, she could just call her. Why did she have to do it herself? They walked up the mountain and first visited the 6 families on the mountainside. These 6 families were very obedient. Almost all the old people were at home. How could the young people stay there? However, what was strange was that there was a statue that looked like a Buddha statue at the bottom right corner of the door of each family. It was obvious that they were very obsessed with the Buddha. After another hour of walking, they finally reached the top of the mountain. The temple is at the top of the mountain. A police officer pointed at the top of the bluestone steps and told Tang Yan and the others, "You go and visit the other 6 families. We'll go to the temple to have a look," the captain ordered. Tang Yan and Mu Qiqi followed behind the captain. However, the closer they got to the temple, the more Mu Qiqi felt creeped out. It was because the murals on the walls of the temple were the tattoos on the bodies of the 2 deceased. She walked further into the temple. There were a few Buddha statues inside. They did not seem different, but Mu Qiqi found it strange. Very strange. Qiqi, what did you find? The function of these murals here is not to bless, but to curse. I believe that the deaths of the 2 victims must have something to do with these murals. Is there any abbot or administrator in this temple? They've already gone to ask. The captain replied, You guys keep looking around. It wasn't easy for you to get here, so try not to miss any clues. This place is weird. There's a weird smell. Do you smell it? Mu Qiqi subconsciously looked for the source of the smell. Everyone nodded in agreement. They followed Mu Qiqi to look for the source of the strange smell. In the end, they found a cellar by the side of a road. The cellars here are usually used to store food. It's possible that this is the smell of rotting food. No. Mu Qiqi shook her head. The food is rotten. It's impossible to smell blood. Everyone became alert when they heard that. 2 of the police officers opened the wooden door of the cellar and walked in carefully. Then they ran out with the stench. It might be the scene of dismemberment. There are broken bones and some body parts. Now the police were all busy. They had to collect evidence, take fingerprints, take photos, and conduct interviews on this mountain. There are so many broken bones at the scene. And judging from the wounds on the bodies, it should be something like a saw. Mu Qiqi said to the criminal investigation team, You guys can look around and see if you can find the murder weapon. 3:00 in the afternoon, in the CEO's office of Zhongting, Sheng Xiao raised his hand to look at his watch from time to time. He thought that the little one was just joking. When the secretary saw him looking at his watch, he guessed that his CEO must have an appointment with his wife. Otherwise, the CEO would not look at his watch more than 3 times in such a short time. But poor CEO, he might be stood up today. After thinking for a while, the secretary knocked on Sheng Xiao's door. CEO, this is a gift from the great designer. Give it to me, Sheng Xiao said without looking up. This should be their wedding ring. But if the little one did not come, she could forget about the wedding ring. This was something he had personally watched the designer design. This was the only time in his life. At 4:30 in the afternoon, Mu Qiqi hurried to Zhongting. But Sheng Xiao was in a meeting. When the secretary saw her, she said to her, "Madam, do you want to take a shower and change your clothes? There are clothes for you in the CEO's office. They are specially prepared for you. Don't worry about me. I'll take a shower myself," said Mu Qiqi. Sheng Xiao probably knew that she would smell everywhere she went. That was why he made such preparations. Her man's meticulousness was really off the charts. Mu Qiqi entered Sheng Xiao's lounge and hurriedly took a shower. When she dried her hair and came out, Sheng Xiao was still in a meeting. Mu Qiqi thought for a while and sat on the CEO's seat. Only then did she realize that the cufflinks she had given Sheng Xiao were still in the most conspicuous place. It was so ugly and childish, but he was not afraid of being laughed at. Thinking about it, she did not seem to have given Sheng Xiao anything else other than the cufflinks. So, she planned to make a good one that could be put on the table and make her husband happy. When Sheng Xiao came out of the conference room, he found a certain someone sleeping on his desk. The secretary was afraid that she would catch a cold, so she wrapped a blanket around her, afraid that the CEO would scold her if she did not sleep well. Seeing that Mu Qiqi had fallen asleep, Sheng Xiao did not wake her up. Instead, he squatted down and looked at her red and swollen feet. No matter how comfortable the shoes were, they would wear down the feet after too much exercise. This little one really did not know how to be lazy. Behind Sheng Xiao, the secretary was stunned. Who would have thought that the CEO, who could summon wind and rain in the business world, would look like this when he returned home? "Xiao Xiao, I didn't mean to be late." Seeing that she was still raving, Sheng Xiao smiled and stood up. He said to the secretary, "Give me the information. Don't let anyone in to disturb me." "Got it, CEO." On the other hand, Mu Qiqi slept until 7 in the evening. In a way, she was accompanying Sheng Xiao. Chapter 585. Xiao Xiao. Mu Qiqi sat up. "I fell asleep." Sheng Xiao put down his phone and looked at her. "You didn't just fall asleep, huh?" "I didn't do it on purpose. We agreed. You've been talking in your sleep for the whole afternoon. If someone comes in and hears you, they will think that my woman has some weird habits." Sheng Xiao stood up and put on his coat. "What did I say?" Mu Qiqi stood up as well, only to realize that she had taken Sheng Xiao's seat. "Idiot." Sheng Xiao scolded her and wrapped the coat around her. "Let's have dinner outside tonight." "Okay." Mu Qiqi nodded and wrapped her arms around Sheng Xiao's waist. "I ran down from the mountain, which is more than 2,000 meters high. I didn't mean to be late. Why don't I ask Su Che to send someone up to install a cable car?" "No need." Mu Qiqi smiled. "I don't think I'll go up. I'm so hungry. Take me to dinner, honey." "Really?" "Yes." Mu Qiqi did not know whether to laugh or cry. Although she knew that her man was rich, he should not play like this. At the same time, Tang Yin rang the doorbell at home, but no one answered the door. After a while, Tang Yin saw the note on the door. "I'm going to the police station. Call me if there's anything. You didn't reply to my message, so I guessed that you're busy." A person who was not feeling well went to the police station. Thinking of this, Tang Yin drove to the police station. Feng Shanshan was still in the laboratory. "Why are you back?" The professor did not know why Tang Yin came back, so he looked up and asked him curiously. "I can't sleep, so I came to see if you can help me." Tang Yin answered mechanically. "There's nothing that I need your help with. After this experiment, Shanshan and I will get off work. Help me send her home. I called her to come here." "Got it," Tang Yin said in a muffled voice and walked out of the forensic lab. Although Feng Shanshan's hands were full, she could not help but laugh when she saw that the man was so tired, but still came out to look for her. About 10 minutes later, the experiment was over. Feng Shanshan changed her clothes and walked out of the forensic lab. She walked to Tang Yin and said, "Let's go. Get yourself a key." Tang Yin stood up from the chair, his expression cold. "If you think it's too much trouble, I can hide the key in my house, and you can get it yourself." "Is it so difficult to make a key?" Tang Yin turned around and asked, I don't want to have to return the key in the future. Tang Yin stopped talking and continued walking in front of Feng Shanshan. After they arrived home, Tang Yin went straight to the study, leaving Feng Shanshan alone in the cold living room. Therefore, she immediately raised the fire. That night, the two of them did not speak to each other. Tang Yin did not walk out of the study. When he left, he did not wake Feng Shanshan up. Everything was the same as before. Even though they were very familiar with each other's bodies, Feng Shanshan was the one who made the choice to not have feelings for him. After Tang Yin left, she made herself a sumptuous breakfast. It was because she knew that Tang Yin did not have the habit of eating breakfast. It was fine now since he was still young, but what about in the future? Therefore, she did the extra work and brought him directly to the police station. You brought breakfast? Can you even eat a corpse? The professor couldn't help but laugh at her. Forget it if you don't want to eat it, Feng Shanshan said. I'm just teasing you. I've eaten. I'll bring it to Tang Yin. This child never has the habit of eating breakfast. Let him have a taste of your cooking. Up to you. If Mu Qiqi was here, she would definitely laugh at her. But she knew that Mu Qiqi was not here today, because she had promised Sheng Xiao that she would practice self-defense today. Mu Qiqi was the favorite. Wherever she went, she would be protected by a large group of people. Why would she need to practice self-defense? The person who should practice self-defense the most should be her. But Sheng Xiao was not at ease. It was reasonable. After all, she was his favorite. Moreover, she had done such a tiring and dangerous job. No wonder Sheng Xiao wanted to test Mu Qiqi's fitness. I'll stuff Tang Yin's mouth in the future. The professor rushed out and came back with a smile. Shanshan, your cooking is not bad. Who wants him to eat it? Feng Shanshan rolled her eyes. She did not want anyone to see anything unusual between her and Tang Yin. I don't care. He ate it anyway. The professor chuckled. Feng Shanshan did not say anything and continued to work. At this time, Mu Qiqi met her self-defense coach. The man of her family came to the training ground to keep an eye on her. She would learn well, okay? She would not fish in troubled waters. So, what are we going to learn today? We'll learn wrestling and sanda. After that, we'll add judo. Sanda is mainly for subduing, and judo is for defense. After learning these, it won't be a problem to deal with ordinary people. Mu Qiqi listened to the coach and nodded. No matter what it is, I can do it. Because she needed to become stronger. Only then would Sheng Xiao be at ease. Then today we'll practice some basic skills. Coach, do you know how to catch people? Mu Qiqi asked. It's best to go through a professional school and learn it for a long time. It's a test of wrist strength. It's usually used by the police to subdue the enemy with one move. It's very limited and not practical for you, the coach answered. Then, I'll listen to your arrangement. Mu Qiqi was undoubtedly able to endure hardship. She did not have the pampered air of a rich young lady. When she was thrown or trampled on, she could still get stronger and stronger. This made Sheng Xiao's heart ache when he saw it, but he did not let his heart soften. Sometimes he hoped that she would be strong. Sometimes he wished that she was just a 17-year-old Mu Qiqi, hiding behind him forever. This kind of complexity, perhaps, could only be understood by others when one loved someone deeply. This morning, Mu Qiqi was thrown around by the coach. But she suddenly realized that she actually liked this kind of exercise. As for Sheng Xiao, after returning to Zhongting, he told his secretary, from now on, free my weekend mornings. Yes, CEO. Only by experiencing it herself would she know how painful it was to hit Mu Qiqi's body, and how it felt when she fell. Mu Qiqi needed to do these training, and he needed it too. Jing Yun had been by his side for more than 10 years, and left in the end. Su Che would also have such a day. In the hospital, it was just afternoon. Grandpa Sheng was lying on the bed. He felt good and suggested that he wanted to go home to recuperate. He felt that staying in the hospital was too uncomfortable. The doctor did not agree, so he had to stay in the hospital for at least half a month. Grandpa Sheng remembered that it was Sheng Zhao's order, so he did not argue. Chapter 586. Gu Xiling had already figured out the housekeeper's family background and schedule. Now, She was just waiting for an opportunity to have a good talk with the housekeeper. So, she behaved herself every day and looked harmless. But the more she behaved like this, the more Hu Ran suspected that she and Sheng Kai were planning a bigger conspiracy. Sheng Kai was now at ease as his vice president. In terms of interpersonal skills, he was much smoother than Sheng Bowen. So, it wouldn't take long for those who were disappointed in him to think that he was bewitched. They wouldn't think that it was a problem with Sheng Kai's ability at all. Looking at Sheng Bowen's management style now, he was really too idealistic. It was impossible for him to understand the needs of the people in the company. So, Sheng Kai was able to win more support. Of course, there were still some people in the company who supported Sheng Bowen's way of doing things. CEO, the Vicios are having dinner together again. Aren't you going? The secretary that Sheng Kai had hired to seduce Sheng Bowen had now become Sheng Bowen's spy. Really? Then they really eat together frequently. Although Sheng Bowen's words were sarcastic, he did not have any intention of stopping them. Because when it came to a person who was not on the same path as you, even if you tried to curry favor with them and scheme against them, it would only end in failure in the end. Worse still, you might be killed when the rabbit is dead. Aren't you angry at all? What's the use of being angry? Our views are different. There's nothing to care about. If he can really take back the position of CEO from me, I won't have any complaints, said Sheng Bowen. Just wait and see. I will let these people know that they are wrong about me. Compared to Sheng Kai, Sheng Bowen was more broad-minded and tolerant. Even if he knew that there were so many jackals, wolves, tigers and leopards around him, he had never thought of eliminating them one by one like Sheng Kai. Because he knew that such people could never be eliminated. There was no way to guard against them. The only way was to conquer them. With all due respect, CEO, you should also care more about your grandfather. I care about him very much. He can understand my feelings, said Sheng Bowen. The secretary chuckled and shook her head. I'm not saying that you are not sincere. I'm just afraid that someone will take advantage of you. I know, said Sheng Bowen. He could not be like Sheng Xiao, who could calculate everything perfectly. But he also knew how to speculate and prepare for a rainy day. Although deep in his heart, he really did not want to be the person who schemed against his brother. But on the other hand, would Sheng Kai show mercy to him if it were him? The secretary did not say anything else. Sheng Bowen also lowered his head to read the important documents of Huang Yao. But at this time, Hu Ran suddenly came to the company. Seeing this, the secretary immediately said, Madam, please wait a moment. Sheng Bowen saw Hu Ran and immediately smiled. Why are you here? I don't have anything to do in the hospital, so I came to see you, Hu Ran replied. Second sister-in-law takes good care of Grandpa. No one else can do anything about it. Don't worry. Grandpa can tell who's loyal and who's not. It's not fake. He can see through everything, Sheng Bowen said. Let's have dinner together tonight. Okay, you go ahead with your work. I'll walk around your office. I haven't been here before. Hu Ran looked around the office. This used to be Eighth Brother's office. I think it's a good place, so I moved in. All the furnishings you see now were made by Eighth Brother back then. I haven't touched them, Sheng Bowen explained to Hu Ran as he picked up the documents. That secretary of yours seems quite pretty. Sheng Bowen laughed when he heard this. Second brother and second sister-in-law specially prepared this for me. Of course she won't be bad. Hu Ran's expression changed when she heard this. Why did you keep her? It's fine as long as I know what kind of person I am. Could it be that Xiao Ran is jealous? Sheng Bowen probed. I don't like to be jealous. I've already made it clear to the secretary. The reason why I kept her is to prevent second brother from sending more sinister people over. At least, this secretary still has a conscience, Sheng Bowen explained to Hu Ran. I didn't keep her because she's beautiful. What are you explaining to me? Hu Ran's expression was a little unnatural. If you're angry, I'll let her. No. Since you've explained it, I'll definitely believe you. If you send her away now, what if your second brother sends someone more ruthless and vicious to you? What should you do then? Keep her. Hu Ran quickly stopped him. Not angry. Hu Ran laughed. If you're really a reckless person, you'd have countless women around you. How can you still be pure? Sheng Bowen coughed lightly. and gestured for Hu Ran to stop talking about this topic. Recently, second brother and second sister-in-law have been so normal that it's unbelievable. So, you should pay more attention to second sister-in-law's actions at home. Grandpa told me about the will. I'm afraid that they'll have other thoughts. I know. Hu Ran nodded. Sheng Bowen couldn't help but lower his head and kiss Hu Ran's lips. Hu Ran's face turned red and she glared at him. Go to work. Don't be serious. I have to work hard because I'm preparing for a big move. There were too many vice presidents in the company. It was time to clean them up. That afternoon, the police were still going up and down the mountain. Because they didn't see the management of the temple before, they only heard that the person had come up the mountain at night. The police immediately took action, but found that the abbot only had one right hand. According to the people on the mountain, the abbot had hurt his hand while working in a factory. Later, he came up the mountain to manage the temple. Not only that, the head of the management was not very smart. From the looks of it, this murder should not have been committed by him. If it was not him, then who could it be? The 12 families on the mountain were all old people. How could they take 2 young people to the cellar, dismember their bodies, and dump them? Most importantly, the murderer did not leave any clues or fingerprints. Not even the fabric of the clothes could be found. If it was not someone with anti-investigation awareness, how could it be done to this extent? Obviously, the residents on the mountain were not the murderers. But the real murderer must have something to do with the temple. Otherwise, how could the tattoos in the cellar be explained? It's so annoying. Every time I want to go to the crime scene, I have to go up the mountain. It's so tiring. The police officers started to complain. Did the murderer do it on purpose? Chapter 587. But Tang Yin did not look at her. His temperament was cold and his eyes were sharp. No one knew what he was thinking. Feng Shanshan thought that with his figure and temperament, people would believe that he was a murderer working undercover in the police station. Can you smile when it's appropriate? Feng Shanshan moved the corner of her mouth and asked Tang Yin. There's nothing worth smiling about. Feng Shanshan was speechless. I think I might fail my course just because you look so cold. Then don't look at me. Feng Shanshan was speechless. Sure enough, she could not expect too much from this man. I'm going home. Feng Shanshan took off her gloves and glared at Tang Yin. You still want to stay here, right? Tang Yin looked at her and paused for a moment before saying, there are many things to do in the police station. I understand. Feng Shanshan nodded and did not hesitate. She packed her things and walked out of the police station. She still had to go to school tomorrow to revise for the exam. Tang Yin watched her walk out of the police station. It was such a cold day. After thinking for a while, he chased after her and gave the car key to Feng Shanshan. Help me drive the car back. Don't you know how to drive it yourself? Feng Shanshan rolled her eyes. There's a car in the police station. Although Feng Shanshan was reluctant, she still took the car key from Tang Yin. She had driven a sports car, but she had not driven an off-road vehicle yet. Thinking of this, the gloominess in her heart was swept away. When Tang Yin returned to the police station, he was laughed at by his colleagues. Officer Tang, why didn't you send the girl back? What if she encountered danger at this time of the night? Tang Yin glanced at him and asked directly, why didn't you send her back? Look at what you're saying. If I could be like you, tall and strong, capable of both literature and martial arts, I wouldn't need you to tell me, right? The man laughed. Officer Tang, you're such a workaholic. Tang Yin did not say anything. How could others understand his actions? Even Feng Shanshan herself thought that Tang Yin simply wanted her to drive the car back to the hotel. After arriving home, Feng Shanshan parked the car and opened the door to go home. Feng Shanshan was suddenly stunned because she felt that she had gone a little too far by occupying the nest of others. She drove the car and had the keys. They had agreed that they would only be bedmates and nothing would change. Why did she feel like she was the mistress of this place now? She then looked at her own house. Although it was cold and cheerless, it seemed like that was her home? Feng Shanshan did not understand. She did not think too much about it. She took a shower and put on the robe she brought over to sleep. Tang Yin returned home in the wee hours of the morning. He did not expect that he would wake Feng Shanshan up, or rather, she was not a sound sleeper. Did the police send you back? Yeah. Tang Yin nodded. But I don't hear the sound of a car outside. Feng Shanshan continued. I'm going to take a bath. Tang Yin could not be bothered with her. He went straight to the bedroom to get a change of clothes. Workaholic. Feng Shanshan looked at the wall clock on the wall, turned over on the sofa, and continued to sleep. Anyway, she felt that Tang Yin was strange in every way except for his good body. Was it because he had been single for a long time and developed a strange habit? However, she did not give up on herself just because of one person. Tang Yin entered the bathroom and saw the green plants on the bathroom door. He frowned subconsciously because he did not like to see these things in the bathroom. But obviously, it was Feng Shanshan who put them in. So he went to the study. The next day, when Feng Shanshan woke up, she was preparing breakfast. But it was rare that Tang Yin did not go out. She thought that Tang Yin was Superman. However, he did not rest at home. Instead, he wore boxing gloves and punched the sandbag in a separate training room. Why can't you sleep? I thought you would go out at this time. Tang Yin ignored her and continued to practice. Feng Shanshan looked at Tang Yin's smooth back and saw crystal beads of sweat sliding down his body. At that moment she felt hot all over. Damn it, she had an urge. I'll go out soon. To prevent herself from drooling at the man, Feng Shanshan quickly turned around. I made breakfast for you on the table. Although the professor said that you don't have the habit of eating breakfast, for the sake of your stomach, I think you should consider eating it. After that, Feng Shanshan went out. When Tang Yin heard the door close, he stopped and took off his gloves to go to the dining room. Looking at the breakfast on the dining table, he sat down, picked up the milk, and took a sip. However, after just one sip he spat it out. But at this moment Feng Shanshan came back. Because she did not bring the documents. Seeing Tang Yin vomiting on the floor, she frowned and walked over, but Tang Yin stopped her. Why are you still here? What's wrong? Feng Shanshan asked. I'm sure I didn't poison it. Or are you lactose intolerant? But even if you're not tolerant, you can't just eat it and spit it out, right? It's none of your business, Tang Yin said calmly. I'm just allergic to certain things. Feng Shanshan was speechless. But I saw you drink milk in the afternoon. So, I think you have a phobia about breakfast. Feng Shanshan glared at him. Is that why you don't eat breakfast? Mind your own business. After saying these words, Tang Yin went to the bedroom. Feng Shanshan crossed her arms and was a little unhappy. Hey, at least wipe the floor before you go, right? This person was definitely traumatized. Feng Shanshan was almost sure that he vomited the breakfast that the professor stuffed into his mouth yesterday. Although she complained, Feng Shanshan still wiped the floor before leaving the house. Living under the same roof as a weirdo, would he be infected as well? Feng Shanshan did not think too much. She only knew that the exam was coming. Although Mu Qiqi did not want to fight for first place, she still wanted to see who was better between her and Mu Qiqi. After a while, Tang Yin came out of the room. When he saw the sandwich that Feng Shanshan had made, he did not take another bite and put it in the fridge. He had tried, but after so many years he still could not accept it. It was the second class in the morning in Shengting University. Feng Shanshan was sitting in the classroom absent-mindedly. When she saw Mu Qiqi enter the classroom, she asked her, Qi, let me ask you. What kind of trauma does a person have to go through to make him hate eating breakfast, and even vomit his stomach out after eating it? Who are you talking about? Mu Qiqi asked a nosy question. Who else can it be? That person with low EQ. Feng Shanshan pouted. You guys. Chapter 588. I think that if Officer Tang's condition is so serious that he's going to throw up after eating, then this incident must have hurt him a lot. So, if you're just trying to find out more about this incident, then I think you should stop. No one likes to be paid attention to like this. Mu Qiqi said to Feng Shanshan. Besides, although you don't feel it yourself, after spending so much time with those rich kids, you have the potential to play tricks on others. Feng Shanshan pushed Mu Qiqi away and glared at her. You don't understand me. I don't understand you. Since you care about Officer Tang, why are you beating around the bush? That's because you don't know how dangerous he is. Feng Shanshan thought to herself. Forget it. The exam is in 2 or 3 days. I must win against you. As she said that, Feng Shanshan leaned on Mu Qiqi. However, Mu Qiqi pushed her away. It hurts. Did you really go yesterday? Of course. Mu Qiqi sighed. I feel like I was run over today. I can't even stand up. I thought you would just act coquettishly. Mu Qiqi did not answer Feng Shanshan's question, because she knew that no one would understand how serious she was when it came to Sheng Xiao. Feng Shanshan did not ask further. When it came to relationships, the two of them had never been the same. We are opponents. Don't hang on to me so easily. Mu Qiqi reminded Feng Shanshan. Look at the surprised faces of others. If Mu Qiqi was said to be an iceberg genius in school, Feng Shanshan was another extreme. It was a well-known fact that they did not get along. Nobody knew what happened between them in the past 6 months. They were supposed to be the strongest opponents. Why did they shake hands now? Then I'll hang up when I go to the lab tonight. At noon, the hospital was very quiet. Gu Xiling was accompanying Grandpa Sheng in the hospital. The butler and Hu Ran happened to bring lunch to the hospital. Usually, the butler and Grandpa Sheng were inseparable. It was not easy to find a chance to talk to the butler. After taking care of Grandpa Sheng for lunch, the butler was cleaning up the tableware. However, the old man said that he wanted to eat the pastries made by the kitchen at home. The butler had always taken good care of him, so he promised him that he would go back and ask the chef to prepare. Anyway, Hu Ran had to take care of him in the afternoon, so he could leave. Seeing this, Gu Xiling immediately said to the old master. In the afternoon, Kai asked me to deliver something for him. Since third sister-in-law is here, I can leave without worry. Second sister-in-law, you're not the only one who knows how to take good care of Grandpa. Hu Ran rolled her eyes, as if she was worried about leaving Grandpa Sheng to anyone else. I didn't mean anything else. Gu Xiling explained before packing her things. She waited for the butler to leave for a while before leaving. It was only when they reached Sheng Mansion that Gu Xiling quickened her steps and stopped the butler. Butler, I have something to tell you. What does second young mistress want to say to me? Why didn't you say so when master was here just now? The butler asked. I don't mean any harm. I've heard about your son. I know a very good lawyer who might be able to help you. This is his business card. As long as you tell him that you're my friend, he will help you. The butler took the business card from Gu Xiling. His expression changed. Second young mistress, if you really want to help me, then I'll thank you. But if you have any ulterior motives, then I'm sorry, I can't accept your help. Butler, are you going to watch your son suffer? I'll take care of my family affairs. You don't have to worry about it, second young mistress. I'm in a hurry. Second young mistress, I won't accompany you anymore. Gu Xiling watched the butler walk away. She clenched her fists. She really did not expect that the old butler was so stubborn. His son was in such a crisis, but he still did nothing? Later, Gu Xiling told Sheng Kai about it over the phone. That old thing is not sensible at all. What should we do now? We've already alerted the enemy. Don't worry. Although the butler might not accept it, he won't say anything. Sheng Kai knew the butler very well. But now, he's not willing to get close to us. That means he's refusing to cooperate with us. He doesn't need a lawyer, but it doesn't mean that his son doesn't need one. Just skip the butler and go to his son. I don't believe that the butler's heart is made of stone. He won't even help his own son when he's in danger. Gu Xiling thought that there was no other way. If I knew this earlier, I would have used force. Don't worry. The butler can't escape from us. Sheng Kai comforted Gu Xiling. We still have plenty of time. We still have a chance to get the butler. Don't be discouraged. However, they never thought that the butler was so old. He was even older than Grandpa Sheng. How could he withstand their torment? But for the inheritance and status, they couldn't care less now. But why could the butler stay in the Sheng family for so many years? Because in his heart, he knew very well that some things were unbearably dirty. Since Gu Xiling had taken the initiative to express her goodwill, how could he not know what the couple was planning? Sheng Bowen had just become the CEO of Huang Yao. His foundation was not stable yet. If Sheng Kai continued to stir up trouble behind the scenes, the Sheng family might not be as glorious as when Sheng Xiao was still around. But he couldn't tell Grandpa Sheng. It was not because of anything else. He felt that Grandpa Sheng couldn't take it anymore. Of course, he could still mention it to Sheng Bowen. When the bell rang, Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan went straight to the police station. Who would feel good when encountering such a headache-inducing case? Every time they went to the crime scene, they had to go through mountains and rivers. No one could stand it, let alone two delicate girls. The police officers who went to the crime scene 2 or 3 times were miserable. Their legs were trembling. I can basically conclude that the murderer did it on purpose. There are still a lot of things we don't know. It will take time to go up the mountain. It will also take time to come back and do the tests. By the time the results are out, the traces will have been erased. Tang Yin looked at the people in the police station sighing. He suggested, "I'll go up the mountain and stay there. If there are any new discoveries, I'll inform you. Or, I'll take pictures of them with my phone. It might save some time." "You're going up alone?" The professor was a little worried. "Although you're strong, what if the other party is a gang? Aren't you courting death if you go up alone? Then add someone to go with me. I'll pack some equipment and go up with you," said the professor. "If possible, we can do some experiments up there." Chapter 589. Had he never thought about who he would be afraid of? It was good to be alone. "Do you want to follow him?" Mu Qiqi could not help but lean on Feng Shanshan's shoulder. "Look at your eyes. They are completely focused on Officer Tang." "Is it that obvious?" Feng Shanshan asked. "Look at yourself in the mirror, Feng Shanshan. Do you know that your eyes are the same as mine? How is it the same as yours? I want to eat him up too. I see Xiao Xiao's eyes are the same until now." Mu Qiqi laughed. "Actually, it's not bad if you follow him. Your relationship will definitely progress by leaps and bounds." "No way. Do you believe it? If I say I want to follow him, he will stare at me and say that I am dragging the team down." Feng Shanshan knew her place, so she did not join in the fun. Although she really wanted to know what Tang Yin was thinking and what the story behind it was better for her not to add to the chaos at this time. "Then go back and rest. The exam is coming soon," Mu Qiqi said. There were too few clues in the case now, and the two of them could not go up. If the professor followed them, he should be able to provide a lot of clues for the criminal investigation team. "You go first. I will stay for a while." Feng Shanshan did not plan to leave for the time being. Mu Qiqi glanced at Feng Shanshan. In the end, she asked her seriously, "He's a police officer, and you're a forensic doctor. Everything can be positive. As long as you calm down and fall in love, Officer Tang won't be the second scumbag, right? You can be serious. Don't play around and miss your happiness." Who knew if Tang Yin would be the second scumbag? At least his image in private was not positive at all. "There are some things I can't tell you, Qiqi. You won't understand. Because your first love is Sheng Xiao. You only have Sheng Xiao as your man." Mu Qiqi lowered her head and thought for a few seconds. Then she nodded. "Maybe." After that, Mu Qiqi left the police station and got into the car that Su Che came to pick her up. When they got home, Mu Qiqi sat on the carpet without saying a word. Then, she put her head on Sheng Xiao's lap and leaned against him. "What's wrong?" Sheng Xiao lowered his head and asked. "Continue reading your information." "I'm just thinking about life," Mu Qiqi said in a deep voice. "Xiao Xiao, what do you think would have happened to me if I hadn't met you?" "I don't know how many times I've been sold," Sheng Xiao replied calmly. Mu Qiqi did not forget that Sheng Xiao had dragged her out of the hotel. "Oh, I'm such a lucky person." Mu Qiqi took a deep breath and continued lying on Sheng Xiao's lap. Sheng Xiao ignored her and subconsciously stroked her hair, as if to comfort her silently. Mu Qiqi felt so comfortable that she closed her eyes and quickly fell asleep. When Mama Sheng came to ask them to eat, Sheng Xiao only made a shushing gesture at her. "Asleep? Then carry her upstairs and come down for dinner," Mama Sheng said softly. The whole family doted on the little one, so it was not an exaggeration to say that she was the group's favorite. Even so, Mu Chichi did not cherish the love of others, just because there were so many people who loved her. On the contrary, she cherished it even more, because she knew how hard it was to get such love. Sheng Xiao put down the information and carried Mu Chichi horizontally. Then he walked to their bedroom, thinking that there were no festivals recently where he could take out their wedding rings. He couldn't wait to wear the ring because it would show that he had a family, but it was meaningless to wear it himself. So while Mu Chichi was asleep, Sheng Xiao took the ring box downstairs and handed it to Mama Sheng. "Mom, please give this to Chi'er." Mama Sheng was shocked when she opened it. "This is your wedding ring? Why don't you give it to her yourself?" "I wasn't ready when we got married. Now that I'm ready, but there are no important days. I don't know how to give it to her. Just tell her that you and Dad prepared it for us. It will make her happier and more meaningful." Mama Sheng frowned. She always felt that her son was not such a roundabout person. "What do you want? Just say it. I also want her to coax me." When Sheng Xiao said this, his tone was very light. It sounded like a joke, but Mama Sheng knew that in her son's heart. He also hoped that Xiaoqi would play tricks on him and make their life more romantic. Understanding what her son meant, Mama Sheng chuckled. "That's it. I'll give it to her for you. Won't your conscience hurt if you take something you made and let Chi coax you to make you happy? I want to have a sense of ceremony." She did not know how Mu Chichi would give the wedding rings to Sheng Xiao after she got them. "I hope you can always love Xiaoqi like this." Sheng Xiao raised his eyebrows. Was there a need to doubt it? He had never regretted the woman he chose. He loved her more every day. That little thing was his for the rest of her life. No one could take her away, not even the king of hell. On the other hand, Tang Yen went up the mountain. That night, Feng Shanshan was the only one at home. What Mu Chichi said to her last night lingered in her mind. But she knew very well that she did not have the confidence to keep Tang Yen by relying on true love and feelings. The danger level of this man was comparable to that of a typhoon. But she did not know that Tang Yen was determined to have her. Late at night, it started raining on the mountain again. Because the residents on the mountain couldn't accommodate the people from the police station. The people from the police station temporarily rested in the temple. They started a fire, and a group of people gathered around it to keep warm. "When it rains, there will be less evidence in the cellar," said the professor. "It's really troublesome. We still haven't found the exact identity of the couple's bodies. I wonder if the screening is over." "It's over." Tang Yen hung up the phone and said to the professor, "The couple are unemployed people from this city. They are both 28 years old. The man's name is Chen Xiao, and the woman's name is Xiao Yu. They are childhood sweethearts. They have been missing for a week. Because they usually go out to play, no one at home reported them. It was not until this afternoon, when Xiao Yu's mother couldn't get through to her phone, that she went to the police station. It's easier now that we know the identities of the victims." The professor sighed. The tattoos on their bodies, the temple, and the cellar all hide a lot of secrets. Now it's up to you young people to dig them out. "Uncle, I'll send you down," said Tang Yen. "The forensics laboratory needs you more. You're willing to go down?" The professor was surprised. "I thought you would stay up there until the case is solved. The clues are all down there." Chapter 590. Not long after Feng Shanshan returned home, she received a call from the police station, saying that the pair of B***Chis who had injured her had been found. After squandering the cash they had taken from her, they had nowhere to go, so they found a new target. However, they were not so lucky this time, and were sent directly to the police station. Feng Shanshan thought that she did not need to waste her time on these two rascals. But after thinking about it, why should she? They ate her food, lived in her place, robbed her money, and injured her head. Why should she let them live a good life? So Feng Shanshan went to the police station. When Tang Yen went down the hill, he went straight home. But no one answered the doorbell after he rang it for a long time. So, Tang Yen took out his phone and called Feng Shanshan. "Where are you?" "I'm at the police station." "It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Are you at the police station?" Tang Yen frowned. "It's not about the case. It's a private matter. The 2B* keys have been found, Feng Shanshan replied. Tang Yin did not say anything else. He did not have the key to the door, so he could only go to the police station. At this moment, the 2B* keys were kneeling on the ground, kowtowing to Feng Shanshan and apologizing. Shanshan, please let us go. We were just confused. Shanshan, I've been with you for so long. Please don't sue us. I don't want to go to jail. Please, I beg you. If a stranger broke into my house and robbed me, I might not hate him so much. But I've given my heart to you. Since you betrayed me, I won't let you go. Otherwise, what would I become? Feng Shanshan asked the two. Shanshan, aren't you fine? That's because I'm tough. Feng Shanshan rolled her eyes. Shanshan, I apologize to you. Really, my grandmother is critically ill at home. I had no choice. If you don't believe me, look at the notice in my phone. Feng Shanshan calmed down and looked at her friend. When she was about to say something, Tang Yin arrived at the police station. Haven't you settled the matter? Feng Shanshan turned around and looked at the man. She frowned. I'm sleepy too, but these two keep wasting my time. Go out and wait, Tang Yin said to Feng Shanshan. The car is not locked. Listening to his words, did this man mean to help her deal with it? Thinking of this, Feng Shanshan slipped away quickly. She couldn't ask for more help. So this time she listened to Tang Yin. She walked out of the police station and opened the door of Tang Yan's SUV. When the two of them saw Tang Yin, they immediately panicked. Tang Yan's height gave them an oppressive feeling. In addition to his muscles, the two bastards were sweating profusely. Detective Tang, how should we deal with these two people? The police asked Tang Yin. Everyone in the team was busy with the dismemberment case, and they still had to deal with these 2B* keys. They were very impatient. You guys are unlucky, Tang Yin said to the 2B* keys. Officer, my grandma is really sick, that's why What does your grandma's critical condition have to do with me? Tang Yin retorted with a different kind of anger. Even the members of the police team felt that Officer Tang was exceptionally cold today. No, you, police, shouldn't you sympathize with ordinary citizens like us? I was born without a heart, especially to criminals. Then, Tang Yin said to the police, charge them with robbery and intentional assault. Charge them with public prosecution. Okay. The police officer nodded. Tang Yin was good at psychological profiling, but everyone knew that he was also good at other aspects. He could fight and resist, and his mind was terrifyingly calm. So there was a rumor that Tang Yin was here to replace the captain of the criminal investigation team, because the current captain was going to be transferred away. Because of this premise, the members of the police team obeyed his orders. Feng Shanshan's good friend saw Tang Yin defending Feng Shanshan, so she asked, your relationship with Feng Shanshan must be unusual. Otherwise, you wouldn't have helped her vent her anger. It's none of your business. She's a whore who's willing to be a husband to anyone. She slept with a second-generation rich boyfriend, and even had an abortion. Take her away. Tang Yan's voice was cold. Then, he left the police station and returned to the car. Is it settled? Feng Shanshan saw the cold expression on Tang Yan's face. She knew that the two men would not end well. The cold Hades must be very tired. But the key was with her, and she was at the police station. Tang Yin could only help her settle the matter quickly before he could go home and sleep. Of course, Feng Shanshan would not know what her friend had said to Tang Yin just now. Tang Yin did not answer her. He quickly drove off. Feng Shanshan saw that his face was really bad, so she kept quiet. After a while they arrived home. Feng Shanshan saw the sofa and laid down on it. Anyway, the cold Hades would go back to his study. They must be living together with the strangest relationship. Tang Yin stood in the living room and stared at Feng Shanshan's back. After a while, he bent down to carry Feng Shanshan and strode into the bedroom. What are you doing? It's midnight. Tang Yan's face was very close. Feng Shanshan's heart raced. She had no idea what he was going to do. But Tang Yin did not say anything. After he put her down, he turned and left the bedroom. You're too strange. Feng Shanshan lay on the bed. She felt comfortable. She was too lazy to move and fell asleep on the bed. You know that some people are hell, an abyss, a moth flying into the fire, but you can't do anything to them. The next morning, Muchichi woke up early and went downstairs. She saw Mama Sheng preparing breakfast. Xiaoqi, are you up so early because of the exam? Muchichi nodded. It's because of the exam. That's why the perverted teachers asked me to go to school early. Thinking of the ring Sheng Xiao gave her yesterday, Mama Sheng took it out from the room when there was no one else in the house. This is for you. Muchichi took it and saw 2 rings. She was shocked. Mom, this is the wedding ring for you and 8th brother. Take it as a token of our appreciation. Find a chance to give it to 8th brother. Don't be so nice to me. Muchichi almost cried. Silly child, keep it well. Mama Sheng smiled happily. Give 8th brother a big surprise. Muchichi looked at the diamond rings carefully. They were so meticulous, so exquisite, and full of emotion. They were objects that were watered with love. They did not look like gifts that a mother-in-law prepared for her daughter-in-law and son. What's wrong? Chapter 591. Although Muchichi was easily immersed in happiness, it did not mean that she was a little cutie who did not know how to think. How could her man not know such an important thing? She did not believe it. But since Mama Sheng had given it to her, fine. She would pretend that she did not know. When she arrived at school, Muchichi saw that Feng Shanshan was completely listless. She asked her, "Did you not sleep well these days? Or did you do something bad?" Those 2 cheese were caught. The police called me at 2 in the middle of the night. What could I do? Feng Shanshan answered angrily. Then how did you take revenge? I don't know. I handed it over to the police and left. Feng Shanshan answered. You just let them go after they broke their heads. What else can I do? I can't call them back. Feng Shanshan pointed at the podium with her chin. The teacher is here. Let's listen. In the morning, in the noble ward of the hospital, the butler had received 3 calls in the short hour he stayed in the hospital. This made Grandpa Sheng look at him suspiciously. Something happened at home. Yes, master. Something happened to my son. Then go back and solve it. Xiling and Huran are here. There are others who can take care of me. You don't have to do everything yourself. After listening to the old man's words, the butler smiled and said, Then I'll go home in peace. Go. You are not bored staying in the hospital all day. I am bored to death. The butler thanked Grandpa Sheng again and left the hospital with the food box. Of course, he knew that once he left, both his family and the Sheng family would change dramatically. But in his heart, he would not betray Grandpa Sheng even if he died. After all, they had been master and servant for so many years. Moreover, the Sheng family had treated him well. Thinking of this, the butler called Sheng Bowen. Third young master, you must be careful of second young master. If you are in trouble, you must ask 8th young master for help. Butler, do you know something? I don't know anything. I just think that second young master might have some ulterior motives, the butler answered. Okay, I will remember, Sheng Bowen answered. After that, he asked the butler with concern. Butler, are you okay? I'm fine, third young master, don't worry. If you have any difficulties, you must tell me. Sheng Bowen was a little worried. Thank you, third young master. The butler knew that he had to take care of his family and his son's feelings when he returned home. However, he did not want to betray the Sheng family or Grandpa Sheng. The person who called him was his wife. Over the phone, she kept scolding him for not helping her, because Sheng Kai had prepared the best lawyer for him. But he was not willing to accept their help. When his wife found out, she was heartbroken and couldn't believe it was her husband's choice. If Sheng Kai and his wife did not go to his wife, how would she know about it? Clearly, Sheng Kai and his wife were forcing him to submit. Sheng Bowen found it strange. Usually, the butler would not call him alone, let alone because of Sheng Kai. Thinking of this, Sheng Bowen immediately realized that something might have happened to the butler, so he called Huran. Huran picked up the phone and heard Sheng Bowen asking, Is the housekeeper there? Grandpa gave him a day off to deal with some matters. This morning, he received 3 emergency calls in a row. Okay, I got it. Sheng Bowen hung up the phone and asked his secretary to find out where the butler lived and what happened. He had a feeling that it might have something to do with second brother. Then Sheng Bowen called Sheng Xiao. Eighth brother. What is it? I think something must have happened to the butler's family. Sheng Bowen told Sheng Xiao about the butler's call today. The butler is so old, and he is so loyal to the Sheng family. If second brother really does something to an old man like him, I really think he is not human anymore. Since you have already sent someone to investigate, why did you call me? You are so smart. You must be able to help the butler. Sheng Bowen said. Eighth brother, the butler is very important to Grandpa. He is like a brother. Sheng Xiao did not answer. Instead, he hung up the phone and said to Su Che, Go out immediately. I will tell you what you need to do over the phone later. Where to? Sheng Xiao thought for a moment and wrote it to Su Che. The butler had mentioned about his family and his background. Sheng Xiao remembered it, because his memory was no joke. However, Sheng Xiao was puzzled. Why could Sheng Kai not help but attack the butler? Grandpa Sheng was still lying in the hospital. What he did not know was that Grandpa Sheng had already told the Sheng family that he had made his will. Sheng Kai and his wife knew that they had no chance, so they did it. Of course, they underestimated the butler's loyalty to the Sheng family and Sheng Bowen's ability. They even underestimated Sheng Zhao's concern for this matter. In fact, the butler had already prepared for the worst on his way home. But he could not bear to. He could not bear to leave the Sheng family and the young masters and ladies of the Sheng family. In the evening, Mu Qiqi went straight home after class. Sheng Xiao had called her and told her that he was going somewhere at night and might not be able to come back tomorrow. Mu Qiqi did not wait for Sheng Xiao to explain and agreed immediately. Since her man felt that it was urgent, she would certainly follow him without hesitation. So Feng Shanshan was the only one who went to the autopsy room. However, when she went in, she got the news that the former captain of the criminal investigation team had been transferred in the morning. Now Tang Yin was officially taking over the team. Feng Shanshan was surprised. No wonder Tang Yin had to come in from nowhere. She did not expect that the higher-ups were prepared for this. I thought Officer Tang was just here to help. You have underestimated him, haven't you? The professor smiled. He became a criminal police officer at the age of 21. It has been almost 7 years now. Do you think he is not capable of leading the team? I don't mean that. I just don't see it. Feng Shanshan scratched her nose awkwardly. That cold-faced Yama did not tell me his real age. You are giving people random nicknames again. The professor was speechless. Since he is the captain, can't you give him some face in the future? Feng Shanshan coughed softly. Was she not giving Tang Yin face? Chapter 592. I'll pack my things and go out with you. The professor naturally accepted the task. After all, he had to support his nephew. However, Tang Yin did not answer. Instead, he looked at Feng Shanshan. Are you talking about me? Feng Shanshan pointed at her nose and asked. What else? I'm just an assistant. I'm not an official forensic doctor yet. Cut the crap. Hurry up. Tang Yin walked out of the autopsy room. Does this count as a new official making 3 changes? Feng Shanshan was a little unconvinced. The professor could not help but laugh when he heard this. Since he asked you to go, he must have his reasons. He won't take revenge on you. Really? Feng Shanshan was doubtful. Of course, her suspicion was very correct. For example, Tang Yan's punishment for the 2B* cheese last night was very heavy. Feng Shanshan did not think too much about it. She simply packed up her things and followed Tang Yan after a while. Just the 2 of us. When she saw that Tang Yan did not bring anyone with him, Feng Shanshan could not help but look at him curiously. There are forensic doctors in the station, and the professor is also here. Why do you want to bring a half-baked doctor like me? Although I don't want to admit it, in terms of professionalism, I'm not even as good as Mu Qiqi. There's no need for an autopsy. I'm just going to see Xiao Yu's mother. After that, today's task will be considered completed. Tang Yin walked in front and gave Feng Shanshan an explanation. It's on the way. Get the key. I said I'm not worthy. Feng Shanshan said stubbornly. Before she got the key, she still had someone to look for. If she got the key, even if she and Tang Yin lived under the same roof, they would not have much interaction. They were clearly living together. She did not want herself to think that she was living with a ghost. Give me a reason. If I don't get the key, I still have someone to look for. If I get the key, you'll be appearing and disappearing all day. I'll feel very uncomfortable. After hearing this, Tang Yin did not say anything else. Instead, he brought her directly to Xiao Yu's house. However, as a woman, Feng Shanshan felt gloomy the moment she entered Xiao Yu's house. I can see that her mother is also a very superstitious person. There is a very strong sandalwood smell in the house. Tang Yin glanced at Feng Shanshan and told her. Xiao Yu's grandfather went to the temple to cultivate in his later years. He had a great influence on the family. So, Xiao Yu and her mother believed in Buddha since they were young. Xiao Yu's father hated the fact that his entire family had gone berserk. So when Xiao Yu was 7 years old, he abandoned them and went out to roam the world alone. I haven't heard from him in the past few years. Xiao Yu's death is related to her father. Tang Yin did not say it out loud, because the two of them had already entered Xiao Yu's living room. Feng Shanshan and Tang Yin looked at each other when they saw the furnishings inside that looked like a Buddhist hall. Madam Xiao, there's something I want to discuss with you. Officer Tang, please speak. The woman sat on the sofa and covered her face as she wept. Because Tang Yin had been there once, Xiao Yu's mother had a deep impression of him. I don't know if you have seen this pattern before. Tang Yin showed the tattoo on Xiao Yu's body to Xiao Yu's mother. Xiao Yu's mother's face changed when she saw it. Officer Tang, why are you asking me this? Because your daughter has this pattern on her body. Xiao Yu's mother was stunned and cried even harder. I didn't know that Xiao Yu hated me so much. She hated me as a mother. Can you explain it in detail? It's all because of her and Chen Xiao. Because we have always believed in Buddha. It caused the neighbors to criticize us. So the Chen family looked down on Xiao Yu and wanted to separate her and Chen Xiao. Xiao Yu's mother explained. She argued with me and wanted to live a normal life, but I didn't agree. I didn't expect that she would choose such an extreme method to protest against me. This talisman is used to curse people. It's a curse that makes people unable to reincarnate forever. What did you talk about the last time you met your daughter? Tang Yin continued to ask. She told me that she and Chen Xiao were going to a faraway place to play for a long time. I thought that they were just like usual, so I didn't pay much attention to it. Xiao Yu's mother answered. Do you know the temple on the mountain? Xiao Yu's mother shook her head. Sorry to disturb you today. Tang Yin did not want to ask more questions, so he stood up from the chair. Feng Shanshan also stood up with him. I'll send you off. After walking out of the Xiao family, Feng Shanshan hugged her shoulders tightly, because she felt extremely gloomy. If Tang Yin was not by her side, she would not dare to come to such a place. It was no wonder that the Chen family objected to the two children's relationship. It was an abnormal family. What do you want to know by coming here? Their phones were not found, and we can't find out who the last person Xiao Yu and Chen Xiao saw was. Xiao Yu's mother looked very sad in front of us, but the tattoo on her daughter's body was obviously cursing someone, or even her own mother. I don't believe that Xiao Yu's mother didn't see it, or didn't know about it. Because of Chen Xiao, their relationship should be very tense. So, Xiao Yu's mother must be hiding a lot of things, Tang Yin answered. Feng Shanshan felt cold, and could not help but shrink her neck. At this time, Tang Yin reached out and held her under his arm. Let's go back. Are you using your official position for personal gain? Feng Shanshan said uncomfortably. If you don't want to come out and learn, I'll find someone else next time. I didn't say that. Feng Shanshan immediately became obedient. Just like that, Tang Yin brought her out of the Xiao family. In the dark night, on the Bluestone Road, their shadows were very long. Feng Shanshan did not know why, but she suddenly had a feeling in her heart that she was different from others in this man's heart. There was something special about her. But Tang Yin said nothing. On the other hand, Sheng Xiao and Mu Qiqi had just arrived at the butler's hometown. Su Che immediately found out about the butler's son. This old man's son was obviously used as a tool by someone. A group of people dragged him into a gang fight. In the end, the knife was found in his hand. Where is the butler now? In the hotel opposite the detention center, Su Che said. He's with his wife. What's second brother doing? I went to ask around. It seems that the couple quarreled in the hotel. In the detention center, the old man's son also shouted that his father did not save him. Go and find out more. I want to know the whole story, Sheng Xiao said to Su Che. Su Che nodded and left the hotel. Chapter 593. Are you unhappy that I'm here to help him? Sheng Xiao sat on the sofa and asked Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi shook her head. Since you're here, it means that this is not a simple matter. I won't ask about Sheng Kai. Sheng Xiao beckoned Mu Qiqi with his finger. Come here. When Mu Qiqi came closer, he pulled her to sit on his lap. If you're tired, you can sleep. Mu Qiqi shook her head. I can't sleep if you don't sleep. Speaking of which, you don't care about the Sheng family's affairs. But when something happens to the Sheng family, you're the first one to run. Sheng Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi seriously. Are you disappointed? How could I be disappointed? In fact, it was because her man was emotional that he cherished the old times. He seemed to be indifferent, but in fact, he remembered many people in his heart. At this time, the butler was lying on the bed. He could not sleep because his son's cries kept ringing in his ears. Although he was a good-for-nothing son, he was still his own son. He could not bear to ignore him. But if he really used the lawyer Sheng Kai found, he was destined to be in the hands of that couple in the future. He did not want to betray Grandpa Sheng. This was a dilemma. He had already made it clear that he would use all his savings to find a better lawyer for his son. But the mother and son seemed to have been drugged and insisted on this lawyer. Now that he thought about it, the butler was very angry, sad, and conflicted. More importantly, Sheng Kai had already talked to the local people. In other words, if he did not agree to accept Sheng Kai's help, his son would not be able to escape from prison. Thinking about how he had done his best for the Sheng family for so many years, he had really done his best. He really did not expect that Sheng Kai could force him to this extent. Unable to bear it anymore, the butler called Sheng Kai. Second young master, you can't bully people like this. Aren't you afraid that I'll tell old master about this? Butler, I want to help you out of kindness. Why won't you agree? Your son is in danger now. Why are you forcing me to give in to you? Say it clearly. The housekeeper asked angrily. My son doesn't need your help. He can be fine. How can you not understand my painstaking efforts? All you have to do is accept my kindness. Sheng Kai, you will die a horrible death. The butler was anxious and scolded. Don't think that I don't know what you're thinking. You're fantasizing about old master's will. Let me tell you, there's no benefit in forcing me into a corner. Butler, aren't you being too self-righteous? Sheng Kai laughed on the other end of the phone. I just want to help you. I don't want your help. After that, the butler smashed the phone. He only had one son, but he did not want to betray the Sheng family. Therefore, he could only go to the extreme. It was midnight. Su Che suddenly appeared in front of Sheng Xiao and Mu Qiqi's room and knocked on the door. CEO, something happened. Sheng Xiao sat up, opened the door and looked at Su Che. That old man jumped off a building. He's in the hospital now. Fortunately, he jumped on the grass. The hospital is trying to save him. What happened? Did you find out? Sheng Xiao immediately turned around and went back to his room. He changed his clothes on the hanger with his back facing Su Che. Sheng Kai hired a lawyer to help him, but the old man kept rejecting him. Sheng Kai must have gone to the old man first, but he was rejected. Later, he went to the old man's wife and son. The people in the detention center were all told to take special care of them. It seems that Sheng Kai wants to force the old man to submit. As for the specific reason, only the two of them know. Su Che said. When Sheng Xiao heard the last sentence, he had already put on his watch. Second brother doesn't know that we're here, right? I don't think so. If we didn't come, the butler would have been forced to his death, Sheng Xiao said coldly. It seems that he doesn't want to stay in Jianchuan anymore. What should we do now? Go and greet the people in the detention center first. Suppress Sheng Kai's men, and let the police intervene in this matter fairly. The butler's son is innocent in the first place. He doesn't need a lawyer. Also bring that lawyer here. I want to see him. I'll do it right away, said Su Che. What about the hospital? The butler's family is in the hospital. You don't have to worry. The butler's wife was probably scared out of her wits after he jumped off the building. She probably wouldn't cause trouble for him now. Then Sheng Kai, record everything that happened here. When we go back, let the Sheng family appreciate it. Sheng Xiao said coldly. I thought that second brother would restrain himself. I didn't expect him to become a demon. Then we can only subdue the demon. I bet Sheng Kai is panicking too. Because of this, it was possible for second brother to continue to harm the butler. After all, if the butler was still alive, then his secret would be exposed. As expected, when Gu Xiling heard about the butler jumping off the building, she was so scared that her legs went weak. After all, it was a human life. She had never thought of forcing the butler to that extent. Both she and Sheng Kai thought that as long as they pushed the butler to the edge, he would definitely compromise. Who would have thought that he would be so unyielding? What should we do now? The butler jumped off the building. We don't know if he's dead or alive. What should we do if he spreads the news? Sheng Kai held Gu Xiling's hands. His eyes were firm. Then in for a penny, in for a pound. Let this matter sleep forever. But he did not know that Sheng Xiao had already intervened in this matter. At 2 o'clock in the morning, the lawyer hired by Sheng Kai was dragged to Sheng Xiao's room by Su Che. Who are you? Do you believe that I can sue you for kidnapping? The lawyer's tone was not soft. But Su Che kicked him on the knee. The man could not help but kneel on the ground. Only then did he see who was sitting in the room. Lawyer Song, you are so arrogant. When the lawyer saw Sheng Xiao, he was so scared that his legs went weak. He knelt on the ground. Crown Prince, no Chief Sheng, I didn't know you were here. Look, why are you feeling guilty? Sheng Xiao asked. Did you do something shameful? Chief Sheng, I was forced. I was forced by second young master. I don't want to be ruthless. It seems that you have heard about the butler jumping off the building. Sheng Xiao tidied his clothes and looked at the lawyer coldly. What did Sheng Kai ask you to do? You better tell me everything now. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that the next person to jump off the building will not be you. When the lawyer heard that, he broke out in cold sweat and trembled. I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything. Chapter 594. Sheng Kai's despicableness was beyond Sheng Xiao's imagination. In just a short time, he had turned himself into a monster through and through. That was why Sheng Xiao did not have to care about any brotherhood this time. Sheng Kai and Gu Xiling were going to disappear from the Sheng family. In the hospital, the butler's wife was still sobbing in front of the operating room. She really did not expect that her husband would be forced to this extent. The second young master of the Sheng family had said that he would help their family. But what about now? He had forced her husband to jump off the building. She was at a loss and did not know who to trust. After that, Sheng Xiao asked Su Che to stay at the hospital. If the butler was lucky enough to survive, Su Che would transfer the butler to another hospital if the conditions allowed. Who are you? The butler's wife asked Su Che warily when she saw him. I am someone who can save your husband and son. Su Che replied. You should know something now. With that, Su Che played the recording to the butler's wife. After the housekeeper's wife heard this, she immediately fell to the ground and cried bitterly. It's my fault, it's my fault. I thought that the second young master was a good person. I really didn't expect that they would be so despicable and shameless to force my husband to submit. It's good that you know your ignorance. Su Che's voice was cold. I don't object to you loving your son more than your husband. But please give him the most basic respect and trust. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. I caused him to become like this. That's right. It's you. With that, Su Che kept watch around the operating room. He did not want Sheng Kai's people to have any chance to get close to the butler. If Sheng Kai had the ability to snatch the man from his hands, He would not need to be Sheng Xiao's assistant anymore. Meanwhile, Sheng Xiao woke up early the next morning and was ready to return to Jinshuan. So everything is settled? Mu Qiqi asked as she helped him put on his coat. The butler jumped off the building and is still in danger. Su Che is keeping watch at the hospital. We don't have to waste time here. Let's go back and settle the score. Sheng Xiao said calmly. Are you sure it's Sheng Kai? For the sake of the old man's will, I wanted to start with the butler. But I didn't expect the butler to be so stubborn and unwilling to work for Sheng Kai. So I chose such an extreme way to end my own life. I don't want to be in a dilemma. Then about his son. Su Che has also gone to greet them. If that group of people still want their hats, then they must try the case impartially. They don't need any lawyers at all. Otherwise, Mu Qiqi nodded after hearing that. She did not expect so many things to happen in just one night. She had slept so soundly. In other words, we'll be watching Sheng Kai's show when we get back, right? Mu Qiqi asked. Sheng Xiao turned to look at her, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. There was a hint of mockery and danger in his smile. Sheng Kai was probably in deep trouble this time. Still, there was no telling if Jianshuan would tolerate him in the end. Either way, the Sheng family definitely would not. That morning, Mu Qiqi did not go to Sheng Ting for class. Feng Shanshan saw the empty seat beside her, and suddenly felt very lonely. It turned out that this was the value of the existence of an opponent. Without Mu Qiqi and Sheng Ting, even classes would be meaningless. It would be better to follow Tang Yin out on the field. Thinking of Tang Yin, Feng Shanshan had to admit that she had underestimated this man's ability. She did not expect that he had been a criminal police officer for 7 years. In the past he was so quiet and unlikable. She thought that he was just an ordinary police officer. She did not expect that he was here to be the captain. Feng Shanshan had to admit that Tang Yan's identity as the captain of the special task force was a plus in her heart. Because it represented a man's courage, ability to plan, and ability to coordinate. Not everyone could bear this identity, but no matter how outstanding he was just a bed partner. Moreover, since Tang Yan was so outstanding, there must be many women who liked him in the past. His skills were so good. He must have had countless girlfriends in the past. How could she be serious about such a dangerous man? At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Tang Yin just returned to the police station because he had a major discovery. He found out that there was a person in Jianshuan who used to have a tattoo like this. The tattooist told Tang Yin that there was once a woman who learned the art of tattooing from him, just to get this tattoo. A woman. He also asked the police to ask the residents on the hill if they had seen Mrs. Xiao. One of the aunties had a good memory. She remembered that such a woman had come here before. So, Mrs. Xiao was listed as a key suspect and brought back to the police station for interrogation. Officer, I've told you everything I know. Why do you still want to arrest me? That's because you didn't tell us the truth. Before Xiao Yu disappeared, you and Xiao Yu had a fight. Why didn't you tell the police about this? The police began to interrogate Mrs. Xiao. We always fight like this, so. But this time it was especially fierce, wasn't it? The neighbor saw it, and you even slapped her. Mrs. Zhao's eyes began to flicker. After a while she said, Yes, I did slap her, but it was just a normal quarrel between a mother and daughter. Then tell me, where did the tattoos on Xiao Yu and Qin Xiao come from? The police continued to ask. How would I know that Xiao Yu died so tragically? You're still lying. Do you know this man? The police showed Mrs. Xiao the photo of the tattooist. Do you still remember the time you learned the art of tattooing from him? Mrs. Zhao's face suddenly changed. I don't know him. Xiao Yu wanted to marry Qin Xiao, but you didn't agree. So, they agreed to elope, but you found out about it. You tried to stop Xiao Yu, but you failed. The police said, We got this from the Chen family because Chen Xiao talked to his mother before he left with Xiao Yu. You said that you supported Xiao Yu and Chen Xiao to be together, but that's not the case at all. You can't bear to see your daughter leave with another man, just like how your husband left you, right? Mrs. Xiao was obviously provoked. She suddenly exploded. No, you're talking nonsense. Tang Yin was outside the interrogation room. He knew that the mystery of this case was about to be solved. Seeing his tired face, the professor asked him, "I heard that you brought Shanshan to visit the place last night? I can't bring you there, can I?" Chapter 595. It's just official business, Tang Yin answered coldly. After hearing that, the professor did not continue asking, because he wanted to know if Tang Yin would explain. If he did, it would be like exposing himself. But he was just doing official business, which meant that Tang Yin really did not have any feelings for Feng Shanshan. Mu Qiqi did not come today. A rich family also has a lot of troubles. It's not easy for Mu Qiqi. The professor spoke up for Mu Qiqi. With such a background, she is still willing to come to our small police station. I am already very satisfied with her. What did I say? Tang Yin frowned and looked at the professor. You are the captain now. The criminal investigation team is yours. I am afraid that you will say that you don't want Xiao Qi. Compared to her, I want Feng Shanshan to go home more. Tang Yin told the truth, but the professor covered his mouth. Aren't you afraid that others will hear it? That girl is petty. She deserves to take revenge on you. In the evening, the setting sun appeared in the sky of Jianchuan. After Sheng Xiao brought Mu Qiqi back to Jianchuan, he did not go to Shengkai personally. Instead, he tidied up everything and handed it to Grandpa Sheng, who was lying in the hospital. The grandson was his, and the butler was also his. The choice was up to Grandpa Sheng. The documents were sent by Grandpa Sheng's attending doctor. Gu Xiling did not notice it. Grandpa Sheng wanted to make a request to the doctor, but he did not want his family to hear it. So, the doctor used the reason of examining Grandpa Sheng to ask his family to leave. I want to go back to Sheng Mansion to deal with some things. I will come back later. Grandpa Sheng begged the doctor. Old Sheng, you have to know that your surgery is not an ordinary one. The recovery is slow. If you continue to worry about it, it will not be good for the wound to recover. If I don't deal with this matter, I will not be able to eat and sleep in peace, said Grandpa Sheng. Some of the sequelae after your surgery have not been completely eliminated. I am really worried. But if you must go out, can you promise me that you will not be emotional? If you can, I will agree to give you 2 hours. I promise. Grandpa Sheng had not even seen his own great-grandson. How could he bear to let anything happen to him? So, he would let Sheng Bowen handle Sheng Kai's matter. Then he would make a decision. He would not quarrel or argue anymore. It was not worth it. After getting the doctor's approval, Grandpa Sheng immediately called Sheng Bowen and told everyone in the Sheng family to come home before 8. Sheng Bowen vaguely guessed that it might have something to do with the butler. But what if he was overthinking? That was why he called Sheng Xiao. How is the butler? How did you know that I would intervene in this matter? Grandpa asked the Sheng family to go home before 8 o'clock. So I guess it must be because of you, said Sheng Bowen. 8th brother, you're not a heartless person. I know that. Since Grandpa Sheng has summoned you, just go. It's useless to call me since I'm not a member of the Sheng family now. With that, Sheng Xiao hung up. In that case, the old man still had to deal with it head-on. That meant that Sheng Kai would be eliminated. However, it didn't matter if Sheng Kai was eliminated. But could the old man's body endure it? To be honest, when he handed the information to Grandpa Sheng, Sheng Xiao was also very hesitant, because he knew the power of this bomb. But the butler's life and death were still unknown. He was lying in the ICU for observation. Was Sheng Kai not responsible at all? Then, he would be even more unscrupulous in doing such things in the future. On the way back to the Sheng family, Grandpa Sheng tried to call Sheng Xiao. 8th brother, do you want to come back? No, said Sheng Xiao. With 3rd brother and the others around, there's not much point in me going. 2nd brother will eventually know that I've interfered. So, you don't have to make enemies for me. Alright then. Grandpa Sheng still wanted to treat Sheng Xiao as a member of the family. However, Sheng Xiao no longer had any feelings for the Sheng family. Now Banyan Courtyard was his home. Wherever Xiao Qi'er was, that was where he belonged. Everyone in the Sheng family received the news that they had to return home before 8 o'clock. because it was Sheng Bowen who informed them. The Sheng family thought that Sheng Bowen had some news. They would never have guessed that Grandpa Sheng had already returned home. Sheng Kai had guessed it in his heart. But now that the butler's situation was a mess, his heart was also in a mess. The butler committed suicide. The lawyer saw that the situation was not right, and turned around to run away. The police had also begun to follow the proper procedures to investigate the case. They did not allow him to continue to threaten the butler. Sheng Kai knew that things were very bad, because he was still a greenhorn. However, Gu Xiling had been watching over Grandpa Sheng. There shouldn't be any news from him. So, if it was just third brother talking nonsense, he could completely control the situation. Sheng Bowen returned home early, and saw Grandpa Sheng sitting in a wheelchair in the study. He was very surprised. "Grandpa, you should be recovering in the hospital. I've taken 2 hours off. Now take a look at these documents." Grandpa Sheng handed the documents to Sheng Bowen. "These are all sent by eighth brother. Although I don't know how he got them." Sheng Bowen first played the recording. His face began to show anger. Then, he heard the news that the butler's life was in danger. "Grandpa, is this true?" Sheng Bowen still could not believe it. He knew that Sheng Kai and Gu Xiling were capricious, but he never thought that they would do such a thing to kill someone. And this person was an old man who had been with the Sheng family for decades. When second brother comes back later, you confront him. "I don't want to say this. I don't want to argue with him," said Grandpa Sheng. Old Sheng said, "Make things clear in front of everyone. I think it's time to put an end to some things." Sheng Bowen was stunned when he heard the word end. "Grandpa, what do you mean?" "You'll know in the family meeting later," said Grandpa Sheng. Sheng Bowen actually guessed that Grandpa Sheng would chase the two out of the house. But he did not know that Grandpa Sheng was actually going to be even more ruthless. "Then, for the sake of your health, don't come out first. I don't want you to see their faces. Go ahead." Grandpa Sheng waved his hand. Faces. It was not like he had not seen it before. What was there to avoid? However, to reassure Sheng Bowen, and to give Sheng Kai a surprise, Grandpa Sheng really stayed in the study and did not come out immediately. By then, most of the Sheng family had entered the house, including Sheng Kai and Gu Xiling. Chapter 596. You don't have to worry about Grandpa. Actually, I have something else to ask you. This afternoon, I got a piece of news and want to ask second brother for confirmation. Sheng Kai was shocked, but he pretended to be calm. "I'm tired. Let's talk at the office tomorrow morning." "It's not about work." Sheng Bowen stopped him. "Second brother, why are you feeling guilty?" Sheng Kai turned around and retorted. "Third brother, I know you're the CEO of Huang Yao now. That's great. But now that we're home, shouldn't you give me some basic respect as your second brother? Don't tell me that I need to get your permission to rest. Do you know that the butler committed suicide?" Sheng Bowen went straight to the point. He did not want to beat around the bush with Sheng Kai anymore. "What? When did it happen? You're so good at pretending." Sheng Bowen sneered. "Second brother, how long are you going to pretend in front of the family? Do you really think that no one will know what you've done? I don't understand what you're talking about. What does the butler's suicide have to do with me?" "Lawyer Song, don't tell me you don't know him?" Sheng Bowen asked Sheng Kai directly. "What are you trying to say?" Sheng Kai asked angrily. "That's right. Third brother, what are you accusing second brother of?" Sixth brother was also anxious. "What does the butler's suicide have to do with second brother?" "The butler's son was arrested for assault, and is now in the detention center. Our good second brother said that he wanted to help the butler, but in fact, he wanted to control the butler. The butler did not accept second brother's help. So second brother used his identity to pressure the people in the detention center, and not allow other lawyers to take on the butler's son's case. The butler did not want to betray Grandpa, so he chose to commit suicide." Sheng Bowen explained to everyone. "You're lying. Keep lying," Sheng Kai said to Sheng Bowen calmly. "The butler has taken care of me for so many years. Why would I do this to him? Because Grandpa announced the will in the hospital that day. You're afraid that you won't get a share of the inheritance, So you want to fight for the butler? Sheng Bowen said loudly. Sheng Bowen said loudly. Haven't you noticed it yourself? Is your behavior really abnormal recently? Of course. I don't want my second brother to do this either. Since you don't want to, why are you slandering me? Sheng Kai insisted and refused to admit it. Second brother. If you still have a little conscience, you should kneel in front of the housekeeper and repent. Even now, his life and death are still unknown. It's all because of your selfishness that you don't want to admit it. It doesn't matter. After all, Lawyer Song has already clearly explained this matter and recorded it on his phone. There are traces of you everywhere in the housekeeper's hometown. Don't think that you can hide from everyone. When Sheng Kai heard that, cold sweat broke out on his forehead. But he refused to admit it. You make it sound like you were there. Second brother, did you really do that to the butler? Sixth brother looked at him in disbelief. For Grandpa's inheritance? Since you all believe me, there's nothing I can do. Sheng Kai looked helpless. Obviously he was not convinced. However, he did not know what kind of evidence Sheng Bowen had in his hands. Xiling, let's go back to the room. Wait. Sheng Bowen blocked their way. I'm afraid you won't be able to hide from what happened today. What else do you want? Sheng Kai asked. The butler has taken care of the Sheng family for his whole life and is loyal to Grandpa. But you, for your own selfishness, forced him to this point. It's hard to guarantee that you won't have other ideas for the inheritance in the future. You might even want to kill Grandpa. How can we dare to keep a person like you in the Sheng family? Sheng Bowen said sternly. So, I think it's better for you and second sister-in-law to leave the Sheng family. I will also give you the shares of Huang Yao, Sheng Bowen said seriously. As soon as he said this, the entire family was shocked. Was he trying to kick his own brother out of the family? Sheng Bowen, don't you think too highly of yourself? Sheng Kai laughed. Do you really think that you are the CEO of Huang Yao now, and the chairman of Huang Yao in the future? You said that I'm doing this for Grandpa's inheritance. Who can prove it? Don't take a chicken feather as a token of authority and spout nonsense here. But what if I insist that you leave the Sheng family today? Sheng Bowen asked again. Third brother, you are too soft. You are not suitable to be a leader. Don't you know that? Do you know how many employees in the company are dissatisfied with you? If I didn't settle it for you, do you think you have the right to show off in front of me now? You want to kick me out of the Sheng family? Who gave you the right? Let me tell you, Sheng Bowen, I just don't fight for it. If I fight for it, you are no match for me. You are still shamelessly slandering me. Have I not been good enough to Grandpa all this time? Third brother, you better not let Grandpa know about this. Otherwise he will definitely teach you a lesson. Sheng Bowen did not say anything else. He directly played the recording. No, it should be said that it was a video. Third brother, don't go too far. When Sheng Kai saw Lawyer Song's face on the screen, he immediately snatched the phone and smashed it on the ground. The butler has been so good to us. He has taken so much care of us. I really did not expect you to be so cruel. Sheng Kai, who do you think wants to kick you out of the Sheng family tonight? Sheng Bowen looked at the broken phone and questioned Sheng Kai sternly. Isn't it you from the beginning to the end? Or should I say eighth brother? It's me. At this moment, when the two brothers were arguing endlessly, Grandpa Sheng came out of the study. Everyone could not help but shift the timeline. When they saw Grandpa Sheng, they were all shocked. I'm the one who wants to kick you out of the Sheng family. Is this enough? When Sheng Kai saw Grandpa Sheng, he immediately took 2 steps back in disbelief. Grandpa, don't listen to third brother's nonsense. I was the one who asked third brother to confront you. Grandpa Sheng said to Sheng Kai calmly. Grandpa Sheng said to Sheng Kai calmly. I was the one who gave the evidence to third brother. It was my idea to kick you out of the Sheng family. It had nothing to do with him. Grandpa, I am your grandson. How can you do this to me? Then tell me, why did you force the butler? Tell me clearly, and I will give you another chance. Sheng Kai choked. It should be said that he could not make up a story at all. Chapter 597. Since you can't give me an answer, I will answer it for you. Because you want my inheritance, the shares of Huang Yao, the position of the chairman, and the supreme glory. So, you did not hesitate to attack the butler to force him to give in. But you did not expect that the butler would be so stubborn. He did not care about your threats at all. He would rather die than betray me and the Sheng family. Second brother, what else do you have to say? Grandpa Sheng looked at Sheng Kai coldly. Sheng Kai could not help but laugh mockingly. It seems that Grandpa is determined to kick me out today. So, you still don't think that you are wrong? I am wrong. Sheng Kai asked himself. I'm not wrong. You've always been biased. You've never treated us brothers fairly. If you could be fair, I wouldn't be so anxious. You used to love eighth brother, and now you love third brother. Have you ever loved me sincerely? Grandpa, all this is because of you. I will not be in your will. I have nothing. How can I be satisfied? Grandpa, I am your grandson. But now, I am not even as good as the butler. If you want to kick me out, I can't say no. But I will not be satisfied. I will never be satisfied. Now that things have come to this, it is not important whether you are satisfied or not. Anyway, tomorrow, Huang Yao will announce to the public that you will disappear from the Sheng family's genealogy forever. Since I've already gone this far, I'm not afraid of going further. Your shares will be converted into cash as per normal, but you can't take anything else from the Sheng family. Moreover, no matter where you want to develop in Jianchuan, you will be suppressed by Huang Yao and the Sheng family. Until I die, you must carry out this order. Grandpa Sheng said resolutely. When I was sick and hospitalized, you and Gu Xiling had evil intentions. Do you think I did not see it? I've always thought that the most annoying people in this family are the ignorant and incompetent people, such as eldest brother and sixth brother. However, it's only now that I understand what the truly annoying and hateful people are like. You and Gu Xiling make me feel even more hideous than myself. What's wrong with a butler? Although the butler is not related to me by blood, he would rather die than betray me. Can you do that? Sheng Kai, from this moment on, you are no longer a Sheng. I admit that eighth brother went out of his own will, but you have been driven out of this house by me, and you will never be able to step into it again. After hearing Grandpa Sheng's last words, Sheng Kai took a few steps back. He didn't expect that things would turn out this way, and that he would end up like this. Lao San, you're really good. I'm surprised. I didn't expect you to use such a vicious method, just to take me down, and stop threatening your position as CEO. Sheng Bowen frowned and answered Sheng Kai. I don't see you as an opponent. Do you think I will still believe you? It doesn't matter to me whether you believe it or not, Sheng Bowen said. Because my goal is not to deal with you. You don't want to deal with me, but you watch me being driven out of the house. Sheng Bowen, you are such a good brother. Sheng Kai shouted agitatedly. Good Sheng family. Since this place doesn't accept me, I will leave with Xiling. But I won't let it go. You can suppress me or target me, but one day, I will tell you who is the real master of this place. Having said that, Sheng Kai took Gu Xiling's hand. Let's go. Gu Xiling looked at Grandpa Sheng with hatred and smiled. Grandpa Sheng, you will die a horrible death. Having said that, they left the house. Grandpa Sheng had said that they were not allowed to take anything away. Seeing this scene, Hu Ran stood by the side and secretly held Sheng Bowen's arm. Those cheese have finally left this house. Grandpa, I will send you back to the hospital. Sheng Bowen looked down at Grandpa Sheng. Third brother, from now on, you have to be careful. Grandpa Sheng patted the back of his hand. I don't want to care about the Sheng family anymore. The seed of Sheng Kai's hatred had been completely planted in the deep pool that was the Sheng family. Don't let him make a comeback. It's all up to you. Grandpa, I understand. Who knew what the future would be like? Help me call eighth brother. I want to see him. Hearing this, Sheng Bowen suddenly felt that the old man in front of him was just putting up a strong front. So, when they returned to the hospital, Sheng Bowen immediately asked the doctor to check on Grandpa Sheng. It's nothing serious. He's just too tired, the doctor answered. Have you settled your family affairs? Sheng Bowen nodded and called Sheng Xiao. Grandpa wants to see you. The butler has woken up. but his head is badly injured. He might have dementia in the future. Grandpa kicked Sheng Kai out of the house, Sheng Bowen said seriously. Eighth brother. I'm really afraid that Grandpa can't take it anymore. He has to. I will bring Qi here tomorrow morning. After Sheng Kai and Gu Xiling left home, they went to Gu Xiling's mother's house. When Mama Gu heard about Sheng Kai, she felt sorry for her son-in-law. Why is this old thing so muddle-headed? He doesn't protect his grandson but sides with an outsider? Is there something wrong with him? Mom, now that we've been kicked out of the Sheng family, we don't know what to do and we have nowhere to go. You can stay here first. We'll talk about it later. Kai, don't be afraid. Xiling's grandfather knows a lot of people. When the time comes, he can introduce you to them. The Sheng family doesn't want you, but the Gu family hasn't collapsed yet. If they look down on us, they will pay them back 100 times sooner or later. Thank you, Mom. Sheng Kai covered his face with his hand. His expression was very gloomy. Because he thought of something. Xiling, have you ever thought about who gave the evidence to Grandpa? It can't be third brother. Who else could it be? Gu Xiling sneered. Other than your omnipotent eighth brother. In fact, Sheng Kai had the answer in his heart. But it seemed that he could only accept it after hearing Gu Xiling say it. Eighth brother, I will definitely let you taste the taste of failure. Let's not talk so much now. Let's think about what we should do in the future. Hatred was probably the thing that could make a person grow. With this motivation, would Sheng Kai not work hard and improve himself? The only pity was that this man could not give her a child. Late at night, Mu Qiqi learned from Sheng Xiao that Sheng Kai had been kicked out of the house. She had to say that it was very satisfying, because Grandpa Sheng had also been led astray before. But at least he knew to rein in at the last moment. Sheng Kai is so vengeful. Now that he has been kicked out of the Sheng family, I don't know what kind of trouble he will cause. Mu Qiqi was worried. Chapter 598. I'm so scared. Mu Qiqi glared at him and turned to return to their bedroom. She suddenly remembered that the ring was still in her hands. How could she give it to this man to surprise him? He was really the most cunning old fox. He actually gave her such a difficult problem. However, it seemed that she rarely took the initiative to coax that man. Taking advantage of this opportunity was just right. After Tang Yin became the team leader, he was obviously busier than before. In the past, he was called a workaholic, and she could still see him in the middle of the night. But now, Feng Shanshan clearly felt that she was the only one spending the long night alone. It was also impossible for her to devote all her time to the forensics team, because she was about to take her exams. Aren't you afraid that you'll suddenly die? You work like this every day and night, and you don't even eat breakfast. You don't live long. Feng Shanshan looked at her own information and commented on the man. However, she did not know that after she went out to take out the trash, she did not close the door tightly. When Tang Yin entered the door, he heard her nagging. Feng Shanshan heard movement behind her and turned around curiously. When she saw Tang Yin behind her, she was so scared that she quickly covered her chest. Can you make a sound when you walk? You said I don't have long to live, but you didn't sleep either. Tang Yin entered the living room and started to take off his clothes. Only then did Feng Shanshan notice that there was blood on his body. Did you fight with someone? Mother Xiao bit me. Feng Shanshan asked. Do you still have a good piece of land on you? Either you roll down the mountain, or you get bitten. Tang Yin did not say anything. He just went to the bathroom half naked. Feng Shanshan gulped. Only then did she realize that she was infatuated again. It was mainly because Tang Yan's body was too attractive. Just his back alone was enough to make a woman's heart itch. After a while, Tang Yin came out of the shower with wet hair and the fragrance of the shower gel. Feng Shanshan leaned against the door of the bathroom and watched the man take out the hairdryer. I'll help you. Tang Yin glanced at the hairdryer and then handed it to Feng Shanshan. Feng Shanshan took over the heavy responsibility and made Tang Yin lower his head. You always seem to be injured. It's just a minor injury. Feng Shanshan raised her head and tried her best to touch Tang Yan's hair. It was so black and soft. It was so unfair. Has the case been solved? There's still one last thing missing. Tang Yin did not go into detail, because he knew that Feng Shanshan was about to take the exam. There was no need to be distracted by this kind of thing. Then, why did you come back? According to your personality, you won't stop until you find evidence. Hearing this question, Tang Yin raised her head and looked at Feng Shanshan. Because I want to sleep with you. Feng Shanshan was stunned. Are you done? Feng Shanshan was about to answer, but Tang Yin had already snatched the hairdryer away. Without waiting for her to speak, Tang Yin carried her by the waist and placed her on the sink in the bathroom. In addition, Feng Shanshan was already wearing a long dress, so it was very convenient for her to do things. So during the whole process, she could not say a word. Her mouth was sealed tightly by Tang Yin. Not only that, if you sleep with a man who has a huge difference in physical strength, you will only be controlled by him in all kinds of ways. There is no chance for you to say no. Just like that, Feng Shanshan was ravaged for the entire night. It was not until early in the morning that Tang Yin let her go. There was only one thought in her mind before she fell asleep. Could it be that she was this man's way of relieving stress? The next morning, when Feng Shanshan woke up from her bed, Tang Yin was no longer at home. This man ran away after sleeping with her. Although the two of them were in a relationship, and she did not expect Tang Yin to care about her. After so many times last night, would it kill him to care about her today and ask if she was feeling unwell? Feng Shanshan forced herself to get up. When she walked out of the house, she saw Tang Yin leaning against the car door. He had not left yet. Get in the car. I don't want you to send me off, Feng Shanshan said angrily. I was too ruthless last night. I couldn't control myself. After saying that, Tang Yin opened the car door for Feng Shanshan to enter. When I wasn't around, or when I didn't mention this matter, who did you look for when you had such a big need? I haven't touched another woman since I took office, Tang Yin answered as he drove. When did you take office? Don't tell me it was last month. 2 or 3 years, Tang Yin replied. After hearing this answer, Feng Shanshan was satisfied. She closed her eyes and rested in the car. However, when they were about to reach the school gate, Feng Shanshan saw that there were more people. So she said to Tang Yin, "Leave me here. I don't want to cause any criticism." Tang Yin did not listen to her and sent her to the school gate. Many people in the school saw it, but Feng Shanshan had to get out of the car. You win. Feng Shanshan pretended not to see anything under everyone's surprised gazes and went straight to her faculty. However, the rumors had spread just like that. Who was the man who sent Feng Shanshan just now? Has Feng Shanshan's taste changed? This man is really attractive. His cross-country riding and his tall figure are too tempting. He's a walking hormone. This time, he's much better than the weakling last time. One look, and you can tell that he's strong in that aspect. Feng Shanshan is dating again. Feng Shanshan rolled her eyes when she heard this. Dating my ass. Tang Yin was a stinky man who did not know how to be gentle with women. Whoever got involved with him would be unlucky. Fortunately, Mu Qiqi was not there. Otherwise, if Mu Qiqi knew that Tang Yin sent her to school, she would definitely say that she was a virgin. In fact, Mu Qiqi and Sheng Xiao had just arrived at the hospital. After Grandpa Sheng returned to the hospital yesterday, he had been in a deep sleep. Until now, he had not woken up. The doctor said that this was normal. He was stimulated when he went home yesterday, and his brain did not get any rest. Seeing Grandpa Sheng lying on the bed, Mu Qiqi sighed. He wants to see you and sleep. How can there be such a good thing? Sheng Xiao held Mu Qiqi's little fist and rubbed it gently. If you're in a hurry, go to Xingting first. No need, Mu Qiqi replied. Since I'm already here, I have to say a few words. The old man has finally done something right. I have to praise him face to face. You naughty girl, you're still so annoying, Grandpa Sheng said to Mu Qiqi when he woke up. You don't want to see me? Then I'll leave. Qiqi, Grandpa Sheng called out to Mu Qiqi. Take good care of eighth brother. I know that in this world, only you can make eighth brother willing to do anything for you, even if it's his life. But he's my baby. You have to cherish him. What's your baby about him? He's my baby. Mu Chichi sat beside the old man's bed and answered. Chapter 599. Mu Chichi had the feeling that the old man was saying his last words. You have to be healthy for at least 2 years, if you want to wait for our little carrot. Otherwise, why would I show you? Mu Chichi pretended to be Tsundere. Old Sheng smiled and raised his hand with difficulty. Go. I know you have to go to class. Mu Chichi looked up at Sheng Xiao. Sheng Xiao winked at her. Then I'm leaving. You stay with him. Sheng Xiao nodded and stroked his little one's hair before letting her go. Seeing that they were still so affectionate, old Sheng took the initiative to admit his mistake. When you first fell in love with this girl, I thought you were just fooling around. After all, you are not serious about anything and have never put your heart into any woman. But later on, you actually abandoned your family for the sake of a little girl. Only then did I know that the Sheng family could have such an affectionate child. You are not like anyone, and it makes me feel defeated. I really wanted to train you, but I failed in the end. You are my most beloved grandson. Even if I used to hate you, it doesn't change the fact that you are the person I want to be close to the most. Eighth brother, promise me one last thing. Sheng Xiao held the old man's hand at that. If you can get through it, I will come to accompany you often. If you can't, I will hate you directly. At that, Grandpa Sheng said weakly, Doctor, call the doctor. Sheng Xiao got up and was about to move when the door suddenly opened. Mu Chichi was standing at the door with the doctor. Why are you back? I felt that something was wrong with Grandpa's words. I was worried, so I called the doctor to make sure he is fine before leaving. Chief Sheng, please wait outside. The doctor quickly responded. Sheng Xiao nodded and went outside with Xiao Qi'er. Mu Chichi saw that Sheng Xiao did not say a word, and knew that the man was very concerned and worried. Don't worry. It's fine. Although I don't like him, he has to be alive to continue making me hate him. Still saying one thing and meaning another. Mu Chichi did not expose him. She simply held his hand and waited with her man. About 10 minutes later, the doctor came out and said to the two of them, Fortunately, you found it early. It's not a big deal. But remember, you can't be agitated anymore. You must rest in the hospital. It was only because the old man heard what Sheng Xiao said that his desire to live was so strong. Mu Chichi breathed a sigh of relief and said, I can go to school without worry. Sheng Xiao put his arms around Mu Chichi's waist and kissed her on the forehead. Go. Since you're so sensible, I'll reward you tonight. Mu Chichi smiled and left the hospital with a peace of mind. When Sheng Xiao returned to the ward and saw the old man leaning against the bed, he slowly accepted that the old man was no longer the old man who could fight 300 rounds with him. I got my life back. A doctor brought by Qi'er, said Sheng Xiao. That girl is a blessed person. A grandson who left the Sheng family is still a grandson. I will attend the state banquet on New Year's Eve. Is it not worth being happy and proud that I have a new way out? After hearing Sheng Xiao's words, the old man looked at him in shock. Of course it's worth it. Then live well. Only then will you be able to see more. Having said that, Sheng Xiao turned and left the hospital. Su Che had already arranged for the butler to be transferred to Jianchuan. It would be best if the old man could see it. Huang Yao then made an announcement to the public that Sheng Kai would be kicked out of the company. He was the second crown prince of Huang Yao, but now he had ended up like this. It was really sad. Of course, the Sheng family could not announce Sheng Kai's evil deeds to the public. Even if there were many speculations, Huang Yao did not give any response. Now, the burden of Huang Yao completely fell on Sheng Bowen's shoulders. But he was loyal and righteous. Could he really do well in the business world? When Mu Chichi arrived at school, it was already the second class in the morning. Seeing her late, Feng Shanshan could not help but ask, It seems that you really don't want to compete with me. How can you just skip such an important class? For me, there is something more important than this. Mu Chichi put down her bag and said, I can't afford to offend the son of a high-ranking official. What do you think I should do? I heard a lot about you on the way here. Why? Did Officer Tang send you to school early? I fell down yesterday. I begged him for a long time before he was willing to help me. And you still want to poke at me? Feng Shanshan said angrily. With his EQ, do you think he would take the initiative to do such a thing? You live next door. Maybe you have already made some progress. But you don't want to tell me? Feng Shanshan looked at Mu Qiqi strangely. How could she say that she did not have a sharp eye? It's not what you think, Feng Shanshan said angrily. After Mu Qiqi heard this, she smiled and did not continue asking. Feng Shanshan was a stubborn person. Even if you wanted to ask her, you would not be able to get any results unless you could find evidence against her. How is the case now? You have missed too many details. I have no desire to tell you at all. Feng Shanshan blinked proudly. You can go and see for yourself tonight. Mu Qiqi nodded. After school, they went to the police station together. At this time, the professor was holding a sharp knife and was extracting fingerprints and DNA. Have you found the murder weapon? Is Xiao Yu's mother the murderer? She hoped that it was her, but she was covering up for her lover, the professor answered Feng Shanshan. Isn't she devoted to Buddhism? That's why people are so strange. She was unwilling to be lonely, so she found a lover, but she opposed her daughter and Chen Xiao being together. On the night of the quarrel, Xiao Yu saw her and her lover having an affair. After that, Xiao Yu went to Chen Xiao and wanted to expose this matter. In order to keep her daughter forever, she worked with her lover to knock out her daughter and Chen Xiao. Then they tattooed and dismembered their bodies. Then they dumped the bodies. What about the cellar and the temple on the mountain? The cellar was the first place where the bodies were dismembered. As for the temple, it was built by Mrs. Zhao's lover. They became friends because of Buddhism. They had their rendezvous there, because it was hidden enough. As for the murals in the temple, Mrs. Zhao painted them to curse her ex-husband. Chapter 600. The case is solved. It will be easier for that kid to lead the team. I can rest assured now. The professor put down the weapon in his hand and heaved a sigh of relief. Feng Shanshan suddenly understood why Tang Yan had been working day and night these past few days. It turned out that he was trying to build up his prestige in the team. Officer Tang has always been very capable. Mu Qiqi smiled. Whether it was leading the team, investigating the case, or his attentiveness and strength, Tang Yan's performance during this period of time was very trustworthy. Captain Tang is treating everyone to a drink tonight, the team analyst shouted happily. You two are going too? The professor raised his eyebrows at them. You don't want to drink. Just eat something. Considerate giving him face. Of course, why not? Feng Shanshan said. She had been tortured last night. Of course, she wanted to have a good meal with that person. Just take it as wishing you all a smooth exam in advance. Don't fail. Soon the group set off for the hotel. The forensics team sat together, while the rest of the team sat at another table. They were all men, so they might not think highly of a woman's alcohol tolerance. Captain Tang, welcome to the criminal investigation team. Everyone, let's have a toast. Seeing this, Feng Shanshan rolled her eyes. If I had known, I would have gone back to sleep. Mu Qiqi also said, I've already called Xiao Xiao. The family car will be here soon. If you leave, what about me? Feng Shanshan pointed at her own nose and asked, Don't you live next door to Captain Tang? I'm looking for him. With that, Mu Qiqi smiled, revealing her dimples. Feng Shanshan was stunned. She turned around and looked at the next table. Tang Yan was drinking, but he did not show any signs of being drunk. No one could tell how high his alcohol tolerance was. Captain Tang, you really don't have a girlfriend. Don't tell me you have a mistress and didn't let us know? The team members started to jeer. That's right. Captain Tang, if you really don't have one, we can introduce her to you. I know many beautiful women around me. How can a man not have a woman around him? Don't you think so? My current interest is investigating cases. Tang Yan answered them without a trace. Tang Yan answered them without a trace. So, all of you better put away your petty thoughts. TSK. Captain Tang, are you that? Everyone looked at him in confusion and shock. Could it be that Captain Tang, who was not close to women, was gay? Hearing this, Feng Shanshan could not help but sneer. If he was gay, there would be no man in the world. After all, he had worked so hard last night. No, Tang Yin answered straightforwardly. That's good. You scared us to death. Soon, Mu Chichi's family drove the car to the entrance of the hotel, and Mu Chichi quickly said goodbye to everyone. She was going home to rest. Feng Shanshan was the only woman left at the banquet. I'm going home too. Feng Shanshan really couldn't stand staying with a group of men, so she said to the professor. The professor glanced at Tang Yin and found that he was indifferent. He gave up and said to her, "Be careful on the road." I understand. Feng Shanshan got up from her seat. She didn't say anything to Tang Yin and went out to hail a taxi. However, when she got home, she realized that the keys were with Tang Yin today. If only he had known, he wouldn't have tried to act tough. Now that he was in a world of ice and snow, he could only wait outside the door. It was not Captain Tang's fault. After all, she was the one who said that she didn't have the keys. However, it was winter, the coldest season. Feng Shanshan waited outside the door for half an hour and couldn't stand it anymore. She could only call Tang Yin. Can't you come back soon? The keys are with you. Okay. Tang Yin nodded. I'm so cold. I'm driving. Tang Yin hung up after saying that. Driving? Didn't he drink? Thinking of this, Feng Shanshan was worried until she saw Tang Yan's off-road vehicle appear in front of her. When she saw Tang Yin get out of the car, she said, "You're a law enforcement officer. How dare you drink and drive?" Who told you that I drank? Tang Yin asked in return. Just now. I drank plain water, Tang Yin replied. Don't run away by yourself next time. I asked you to make the keys, but you're too lazy to do it. Who am I to you? Do I have to have the keys to your house? Feng Shanshan snorted. You're really not likable at all. Other than being strong in bed, I wonder if your ex is blind. She's not blind. She's just dead. Hearing the word dead, Feng Shanshan was stunned. Was Tang Yin going to tell her story? However, before Feng Shanshan could react, Tang Yin went to take his luggage and went out. I'm going to leave for a few days. You take the exam by yourself. Where are you going? There's a case that they asked me to investigate together. I'm going to help them now, Tang Yin replied. Are you the only one in the team going? Only me. Tang Yin did not say how dangerous this matter was, nor did he say anything else. Anyway, Feng Shanshan felt that this man had nothing to do with her, so she did not ask too much. What did it have to do with her? However, after Tang Yin drove away, Feng Shanshan thought to herself, was that man so fierce last night because he knew that he was going to leave today? Thinking of this possibility, Feng Shanshan's face turned red. Late at night, Banyan Courtyard. After Papa Sheng and Mama Sheng heard about old Master Sheng, they sighed deeply, especially Mama Sheng. Although she used to hate old Master Sheng, after knowing that he had gone through so many twists and turns, she finally calmed down. He deserved it after suffering so much. I just didn't hear from you that Sheng Kai has become like that. It's really sad. Now only third brother is supporting the family. It's hard on him. Papa Sheng sighed. Dad, do you want to go back? Of course not. I prefer my current job. I live for myself. Papa Sheng quickly waved his hand. I just think that third brother is soft and second brother is strong. One day, he will stir up trouble again. Even you can see it. How can I not see it? Mama Sheng chuckled. All right, let's rest. Don't delay the couple. Mama Sheng patted Papa Sheng's shoulder. For so long, perhaps because she was afraid of seeing some inappropriate scenes, Mama Sheng rarely walked outside after she returned to her room. Because she knew her son's personality, he wanted to hug and kiss for no reason. Mom, you're quite self-aware. Isn't it because you always have no scruples in front of me? Mu Chichi glared at him. Sheng Xiao grabbed Mu Chichi and sat on his lap. I told you in the morning that there will be a reward when we go home tonight. I don't want your reward. This is a reward for yourself. Mu Chichi snorted. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.